good people of the internet? It's episode 105. Ain't no job because we alive, baby. No Cooldown podcast. We are back in the building. Hope all of you are doing well as we foray into the busiest period and the most trying time for our wallets and respective money sources. If you got money under the mattress, I know it's feeling lighter right now because games are dropping left, right, and center, but it's okay because we're enjoying our time. We are here, and I can't wait to talk about stuff this week. Of course, I am that man Trip. Hope all you guys again are doing well, and I'm here, my podcast partner in crime, the newest, you know what I'm saying, learner, the newest acquirer of the Wolf Fang Fist in the building. It's Went Easy, man. What's going on, dog?
Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here. A school of the damn. I am not a real Dragon Ball Z fan because I don't remember. I don't remember Master Roshi's school.
The turtle school. The turtle school.
That I felt it in my soul, but I didn't say it. You know. And with this kind of self-doubt, I'll never be able to ascend to Super Saiyan.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But we're glad you're here, guys. Make sure you rate this podcast 5 stars on all audio platforms that you're listening to, and of course, if you're over on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss all other stuff we got going on, talking about the exclusive gameplay, the exclusive, you know what I'm saying, everything, the chops, the segments, the pods, future episodes, some cool content we got coming at the year's end as well. You don't want to miss it. We have a lot of games to talk about, a lot of games to get through, a lot of news to break down. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into it. When are you ready?
Born ready.
Man, let's get straight to it, and let's get into our main story. We got to talk about it, man. We got to talk about it. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is here. Yes, the arena fighter, as it was so aptly put in an old video from ours like months and months ago. The arena fighter is here. It's dropped. Again, it's had some solid praise and reception. People are on it. I seen CJ mods. I seen Shrek mods. I seen everything, bruh. Sparking Zero, the spirit of Tenkaichi, is back in full flow, and of course we've had time with it when it's had the early the pre-order, like premium version and stuff, so you had some early access. I got to play from last night and got some some game time in, and yeah, we just wanted to break down our impressions and what we thought of it at first. When talk to me, you had the most time out of everybody here in the pod today between me and you, so just tell me what you're thinking about Sparking Zero, man.
So Sparking Zero, I want to say first and foremost, I would like to apologize. I thought this was gonna be any old arena fighter. This feels like a new age in arena fighters, and the reason I said that I was afraid of it being any old arena fighter is because Bandai Namco, when it comes to things that aren't Tekken, are pretty lazy, and and I don't want to say that, because when it comes to certain things, they just don't always deliver at the capacity that I know they can deliver to. You know, it's like your friend who has a lot of money but is only putting up $20 for the pizza and wings. What, you were the one who wanted the wings to begin with. So when I got the game, I was like, expecting a quick little R1 to teleport behind you, square triangle is going to be all of your combos. But no, this game is pretty deep. Honestly, I'm going to talk about the best thing in this game and some of the worst things about this game. Best thing about the game, the combat is amazing. I cannot stress to you how beautiful the game looks, how smooth it feels, how fun it is, how fast it is. Because it's a speed where it's going to require some level of skill over some level of like knowledge. Because that's one of my fears, was that it was gonna be a little too slow. Like I remember Xenoverse 1 felt very slow, and it felt like just like, let me do my little battle plan. Like I don't even really need to be mechanically sound. I just need to do the things that I know will work. This game, if you're not paying attention, you're gonna get cooked. You'll lose to the easiest spam if you're not paying attention. Like you need to be able to react to things. On top of that, though, it gets the level of like knowledge you need to know about the different kinds of counters, what counters work on what to do in certain situations is very important. So there still is that level of game plan. Like, let me make sure I'm managing my meters correctly. Let me make sure I know what will work in this kind of scenario. Am I able to go, like there have been times where like I'll charge up and he'll charge up and I realize I can't go sparking because I don't have the little blue bar or whatever. Like it is all about resource management, and like knowledge is gonna carry you as much as skill is. I think it's a really good combination, like a really good fusion of, hey, the people who are mechanically sound in video games and the people who aren't mechanically sound but have really good game plans, this is like the game for that. I cannot express to you how much I love the actual combat in this game. It's really fun. It's amazing. Now for the not so fun stuff. Actually, no, there's still more praise to be had. Bunch of different characters. Like the bunch of different characters. At first I wasn't a huge fan of only having 2 supers per character, but honestly, it lets you jump into characters you wouldn't normally play easier because you don't have to worry about like learning every single ability. And on top of that, just like maybe I want to mix my team up a little bit. I wish you could swap some of the abilities out, but then when you have different versions of characters, it doesn't really matter. Like a Goku, all the different versions of Goku's have, I believe, pretty much different moves. Even though he'll have a Kamehameha, it's not the same as the other Kamehameha. So like people only having like 3 quote unquote super moves is not the end of the world to me. So the roster is stacked. The music is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And that I feel like covers about the things that I absolutely love. A couple things of the game that I cannot stand. The fact that we're in 2024, in end of 2024, really 2025,
in the year of our Lord.
In the year of our Lord, in the year of Shenron, we don't have any crossplay. Is bananas to me.
Ridiculous.
I'm not even asking for rollback. Like I would have given up rollback to have crossplay, but we don't have. I don't even think we have either of those. Like we just straight up have regular shit, which doesn't make sense to me because Bandai has literally did it for Tekken, and it was a huge deal for Tekken. People were like, we need crossplay, we need rollback, and they did it, and it was, and like I just can't imagine at the top of the year the reception that rollback and crossplay got, and everybody being so happy about it. And then being like, yeah, you know what, you're done. We're done doing that. It's not a standard thing. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. On top of that, no rollback, no crossplay, and I also don't understand how we still don't have penalties for leaving in ranked. And don't get me wrong. People don't leave my games because I'm super free right now. They are cooking my ass to the nth degree. I am getting absolutely. I almost lost my whole team to a Yajirobe. I'm free.
I was a witness. I was a witness.
Yeah,
Shit was crazy.
It's awful. But the fact that we don't have levers penalties is kind of bananas to me because again, it wouldn't be hard. It would just be like, yo, don't let him play for another 10 minutes. Like that. It's not hard. It's not impossible. And damn it, I feel like the negative list might be a little bit longer than the positive list. But when I tell you that the positive list makes me okay with my $100 or whatever purchase, like I'm content with my game. I'm very happy with it. The last thing that I will say, the campaign mode, the cutscenes could be better. Some of the cutscenes are great. Like when Vegeta's talking to his son and you can see it from the perspective of Vegeta, it's like, damn, this is the most wholesome I've ever seen. This is the most wholesome I've ever seen any of these characters. It's a great perspective. And especially the sparking episodes, they actually have good cutscenes. But when I'm playing the game and the cutscene is like, hey, I'm going to I'm going to like do a cool Kamehameha and it just freezes to a still frame. The still frame is sick. And I would love to be able to, you know, peep them joints in the gallery. But the fact that I'm coming off of Kakarot, which had cutscenes that are bananas, and you guys are all the same company, you can just pull those cutscenes and put them in this game. It just doesn't make sense to me that you guys didn't do that. And don't get me wrong, Kakarot has a bunch of times where important shit has no cutscenes. It's just people standing there talking. But that was my biggest concern going into this, was that like I don't want them to skimp on the single player, and the single player still fun. I'm still playing it to this day. I'm going through all the episodes. I'm going through all the alternate paths. It's a lot of fun. But a lot of the times I end up skipping the shit because I know that it's just going to be like one quick movement. And then it looks like, you know, iPhones, when they have those live pictures where you just hold it. That's what it feels like. It's like, oh, snap. Goku's going to charge up. And it's like he charges up and then it just freezes. And then it's like, all right, let me just hit X. And rest in peace to the announcer, because I would have loved to have his voice in some of these, because some of these instances is literally is a narrator speaking, but nobody's talking. And if you would have had just anybody narrating it, it would have felt more impact than just showing me a still frame with nobody talking and just text. Like there's certain things that this game can be amazing, you know?
Yeah, for real.
Saying all of this though, solid 8.5 even. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, this is the game to get. No doubt about it. I love Dragon Ball Z Fighters, but that isn't as inclusive as a game like this, because it has so much more to offer you. this game is amazing. I really, really enjoy this game. Like, if this doesn't get nominated for anything, I'm really going to be shocked. But it is not perfect, and I just don't understand why.
Yeah. To kind of piggyback again, I echo a lot of the same points that you were given on this game. I will say I will stick on the negative first and then jump back to the positive to kind of end on a full loop. But yeah, the crossplay shit. At this point, it should be set in stone to have crossplay for any multiplayer things. It should be absolutely like ironclad in any fighting game that you put. Especially, again, that was a good point for adding in Tekken. You've done that at the top of the year already, and you saw the reception it gave. So if any fighting game, arena, or whatever, or at least whatever game of like some like backing, you know what I mean? Like, okay, Tekken's a huge fighting game like property. Anything Dragon Ball is a huge fighting game property if you so put it in there. Having rollback netcode and crossplay should be standard. It should be standard. I would love cross progression. They could just go do the whole Triforce on it. But again, that it just is what it is. I think right now that's the biggest glaring issue for me, because that was the first conversation I had literally last night after I was done watching you play. I was like, oh man, let me go play some story mode, and I hopped in with Ace and Rome. Shout out to Ace. I'm about to say Ace Don XL. Shout out to Rome, Rome the voice man, Rome Whisper. You know what I'm saying? I was in there talking with them, and they're like, oh, you got it on P5? I'm like, nah, I got it on Steam, bro. And like, we have to go through this old conversation again, and it's like, I don't want that in a game that is it's so friend heavy, you know what I mean? It's so friend and community heavy. It's implied in just the ethos of what this game has turned into, what this IP has turned into. So not having it cross plat is kind of a knock to everything that it's intentioned to be. In a sense, it's not like the biggest knock in the world, but it's like, damn, it would have been nice to kind of fit the vibe of what's going on here. Let everybody play against everybody, and then life would be kosher. I mean, you have to play a controller anyways, or it's recommended you play with a controller on PC anyways. So there's not like any definitive gap or whatever. So make that change, make that fix. I'm kind of holding to see what the feedback loop is, and I think they do have feedback loops open. So I'm hoping that change will be recognized at some point down the line, and they can make it within the first, hopefully first couple quarters of this game being out.
The only thing I could think of with them being like, hey, we don't want PC cheaters in console lobbies, but you could turn crossplay off in like every game ever created.
Yeah, literally.
Like if there's crossplay, you can turn it off.
Yeah.
Like just do that if people don't want to deal with it, but like don't make everybody else suffer for the people who want to play with their friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. It's just like having that option should be a staple in whatever this game multiplayer gaming stuff is nowadays. It should be a staple. So making that little extra mile, especially for a game like this where off the rip it's okay, let's get into this lobby, let's get into this. It's not like, oh, let's just get our seat, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, get into this, only the single player the entire time, only this, only that. A lot of this, I think I would say, at least over 40 to 50%, half of the people playing this game are going to play because they want to like get online, get multiplayer, and get on with other people, and that might entail other platforms. So just making that change is important. I think you made a lot of really good points, and I agree with most of them. What else is on the docket that you didn't cover? People was bitching about that grade 8, bruh. I didn't think that grade 8 was as bad as people were saying. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I caught it after a patch on day one. I don't know what's going on, but it didn't take me.
You're just different, bro. You're just different.
It didn't take me that long. I ain't gonna lie. The grab was a pain in the ass, because I swear that's the one thing I will give y'all. The grab was nasty work. I literally teleported below grade 8 Vegeta. I was under his foot as he was floating in the air. He did the grab animation straight forward. I was literally 12 feet below him. I was literally below, and he still got me in the grab animation. I paused and I had to take a deep breath, because I was like, there's no way that registered, bro. What's up with the hitboxes on this? What's going on with that? That was wild. Outside of that, it was pretty straightforward. I'm about to say it wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Can't be just trying to rush this motherfucker. It is what it was. But I think for what this package is, for what the game is, you gotta keep pushing to have those drawbridges down for all the platforms. And that was my biggest gripe. I think it's everybody's biggest gripe, that there isn't more connectivity across that. But everything else, again, I can't complain. I haven't been into ranked just yet, so I don't know about the cheaters. I've heard that it's been rampant. People have just been like leaving all across the gaff, and it's like, bro, take your ass whooping like a real person, bro. Take your ass whooping like a real one. Don't be no bitch. That's just my PSA to everybody. This goes beyond Dragon Ball. This goes beyond sparking. You know what I'm saying? Just don't be a little bitch. Take your ass whooping and learn, bro. Learn to lose. Losing is a part of life. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't try and apply the lessons that you learned, and you try and quit midway and don't understand, oh, what you did wrong, or oh no, this guy's hacking, blah blah blah, you're going to remain a loser. So fix up. Get in that lab, brother. Get in that lab. That's exactly what I did. I was about to say, as soon as this game opened, as soon as I opened this, I didn't go to story mode. I didn't go nothing. I went straight down to the lab, to the training, the battle training and stuff, to first learn every single mechanic as possible, because it's a lot different. There's so much that you have to look at. There is so much that you have to absorb in terms of the mechanics of the game. And this is honestly probably my biggest positive I'm gonna take from my experience so far. The mechanics, I feel like there's enough for me to really like combat people. Again, I'm not the best at fighting games. I'm not good. I'm not good at FGC stuff in general. But the depth that they added into this game gives you so many options to engage. And it feels like, again, like Wen said, it feels there's a lot more of a tactical plan that you can put in place, and there's ways to escape. Like we were just talking before the podcast about, I was literally in the lab, like Wen came into the room and I was in the battle training. I was working on the what's it called, the revenge counter. I think it was revenge counter or whatever it was, super recovery. I think it was super recovery, whatever. But in super recovery, if somebody's behind you, you can't really do regular recoveries or anything like that, because they're just, you know, behind you, back shots, pause. But if you hit the up on the left stick and X at the right time, you can block that whatever attack's coming from behind you like that, and then go into it. You know what I'm saying? And then go into whatever you need to, and then continue on the attack. And there's not really, you know, that, or maybe there's one other thing that can help you in that situation when somebody teleports behind you or is behind you and attacks. But that just shows you the depth of options. You got the revenge counter on the right stick, the right analog stick, by clicking it. You got the blocks, the perception. You got, again, the guards and all that stuff like that. The timing, the super evasions, the dragon rushes and the regular rushes, the side steps. There's so many mechanics to engage. And the more I was looking in training, and the more I was looking at, again, different gameplay I was going through, they all have such good use. They all have such good application, again, in whatever context that you can apply them to. Like I think that this bag is going to last Dragon Ball Sparking a long time, because there's enough to really get engaged with at the surface level. With, again, it's easy to get into, you know what I'm saying? Again, the basics, charge, super attacks, the little skills that are there on the left, which I think are very, again, very intuitive. I like those. The switch buttons felt intuitive. They didn't feel too out of place, like I had to do too much work to like jump out of my combat flow to switch characters or do a transformation. But that surface level's covered, but there's enough depth under it to really justify this game being having a longer life cycle with, again, the FGC players, the FGC faithful, tournaments. Like, again, people ran tournaments all day yesterday on day one, and you saw good fights. It weren't like spammy fights, like especially towards the end. Again, shout out to K-Dot. He was running a tournament through the Twitch Black Guilds and shit, and I was watching some of the people like just go at it, and I was like, oh, this real, like they're getting to real tech. Like, this is not just, oh, spam move, spam move, spam move, you know what I'm saying? Left square, Masenko, hold this with the boost, and that's it. No, there's so many avenues to keep mindful of in this game, and it's so dope to see it play out in real time. Again, I was cranking up, like in training, I was trying to crank up a CPU to see what they can do, and they was mixing my shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie, they was mixing me at first, but eventually I was starting to learn, okay, you know what I'm saying, you can do super recoveries and stuff, and dodge big evades. I was using like the teleport move when you hold down X and A, or tap X and A at the same time to teleport behind people to initiate attacks. Again, the deflections of key blast with the right bumper. There's so much to keep track of, which is a lot. Again, don't get me wrong, it is a lot to internalize, absolutely, but I think that adds to more fun, because when you pull some of this shit off, again, every time I see that the super evade move and somebody gets it on time perfectly, when you hold like perception, you go, you see the wind marks going, you go weave, that is perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I love the way it looks. I love how it feels when you get to, like, again, pull it off, and it rewards you. It's actually rewarding. rewarding, you know what I'm saying, to focus in on these things and get the timing right and get these tools in your toolkit down pat. And I like it. I think the biggest plus for me was this gameplay system that we have. I'm really enjoying it. I was surprised. I thought, like, you know, we might get something, you know, basic. We'll get a couple things here and there, but again, as we got those updates prior to release, you see, like, yo, you can, like, again, you have the classic beam struggles and all stuff like that, beam deflects if you have enough energy and all that. And there's a lot more than meets the eye. No Transformers. Go see Transformers 1, by the way. Completely random shout out, but still. I love this gameplay. It is fantastic, and this is going to last this game's life cycle a long time. It's going to extend it by much more than we thought, in my opinion. And outside of that, everything else is just classic Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying? You're unlocking characters, you're gaining points. You got all the characters, the cast and crew. You know what I'm saying? Like the looks, the costumes, everything looks super cool. Like, again, the story mode, the sagas and stuff like that. I would say, for brevity's sake, at least in the beginning sagas, I'm not mad that they like divvied up different cutscenes. I will agree that you know, and again, big rest in peace to Doc Harris. Having him there would have been a big plus, and kind of like would have added some extra, again, a lot of extra spice to the skipping cutscenes and then they're kind of panning out into like the stills, moving on to the next parts of the story and stuff. But yeah, I didn't mind it in the opening sagas. I gotta see how it keeps progressing as we get to later ones, to see like where's the cuts at and how detailed could they have been with certain cutscenes that they decide to just make this a still and just move on. But we'll see. Custom battle I have yet to get into, but I want to get into it to see how and what people are creating, because I know it's gonna be a fun time. I also do like the choice system that they had in the story mode as well. Like, did you choose to like in that first part with Piccolo, did you ask for his help, or did you go it alone?
I asked for his help because I was trying to do it regular, and then I think there was another moment early on where they asked you to do a different thing, and I did the different thing. I will say that sometimes you get really cool moments where it's like, oh snap, it's a big ass difference from what it would have happened in the anime. And then sometimes it's just like, oh no, Krillin is just in the fight now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but those little deviations, I don't mind. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't mind them.
Yeah.
But I was just like, at first I was like really annoyed because I was like, oh, this is just like, it just makes the fight a little bit different. But then there was like one where like Babidi was like, get mind controlled by Babidi or don't, as Vegeta, and like it's a whole different timeline. And I'm like, this is kind of cool.
So yeah, I like those breaks, and I want to fully explore them before we come back. But on the first impression, I like those. Yeah, man. Listen, an 8 and anything above a 7 or 7.5 is a win for anime games, especially anime fighting ones. So the fact that they've scored like around like what I've seen 8s, 8.2s in that range, 8.5s in some cases, this means this is a solid, you know what I'm saying, 9 range. This is peak times for anime games and anime fighting games specifically. So I'm happy. My childhood is happy. I currently am happy. And as soon as this podcast is done, I'm literally gonna go back and play some more, because this is what's been occupying my mind. I'm literally split between that, Wukong, and then a couple other games that we're gonna talk about today. My weekend is full. My mind is stimulated. My nostalgia is peaked, and you know, Local Man is happy. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. You did it for the most part. We got some work to do, but you had a solid intro. I will say that. All right, man. With that being said, we can slide on to the next story of this episode, man. Let's talk about Xbox. Let's talk about a specific area of Xbox. Let's talk about a part of Xbox that Wen has likely wanted to die for some time now. Let's talk about 343, or formerly known as 343, because they have changed their name and their direction and their mission and a lot of their makeup and structure to be named Halo Studios. 343 Industries is now rebranded as Halo Studios. Again, they've noted a huge community, just like developer studio update that they dropped over this past week. The studio's growing, they're hiring, they've changed a lot of their leadership over the past few months, and they seem like this is a big juncture point to kind of announce their reemergence and new direction and new path. Again, big things here. The big notes that the next Halo games will be in Unreal Engine 5. They've switched from their prior engine and they're going to UE5. They showed off some gameplay, some of the design, some of the looks. There is kind of a research project that they did, like Project Foundry, I believe they titled it, to look at that. And they're just saying, hey, listen, the next Halo game is coming. We are on a new path, and again, a lot of that resides within Unreal Engine 5. When Halo continuing on, Halo and Unreal Engine, the new direction, Halo Studios, what do you think?
Sure. I don't really, I mean, like, sure. Sure. I just like, I'm not gonna discount them. I don't want to say that they're gonna, it doesn't matter what happens. I'm not a hater. I want Halo to be good because I think Infinite had a lot of potential. It just wasn't ready for the kind of like being an online shooter is difficult. That's the most their biggest hurdle, right? It's as much as it's easy to shit on Overwatch, like, no, it still sucks. Overwatch sucks. I want to say Fortnite. It's as hard as it is to, as easy it is to shit on Fortnite, you gotta commend them for having content out the wazoo every single time you get back on that game. Every time you get back on the game, there's something to do. Like, you always have something to unlock or something to buy. And that, I think, was the biggest problem with Halo, is that their battle pass felt like a grind. And like, when I say grind, I don't mean like a regular, like, you know,
they made it super grindy.
That shit was like, it felt like beating a fucking RPG to get to another fucking tier list. That's what it felt like. It took you forever. And then when you unlocked it, it's like, yo, bro, here's this orangish looking skin for a gun. And I'm like, oh, cool. Now I get to go back to fucking work. And I think the game is really, really fun. It was just missing that aspect of being a free-to-play shooter. Is like, you want to make this game not feel like a job so that people will play it like it's their job. That being said, I hope for the best for them, truly. Like, I really do hope they shape up to deliver, because I think they really can. And I think with the backing of Xbox, and maybe Xbox is now more refocused, because another thing too is that I feel like Infinite dropped at one of the worst times to be an Xbox title, because you have so much shit going on in the Xbox side, right? You had them trying to buy Blizzard, and all that legal back and forth, fucking Starfield. Like, right now I feel like the lane is pretty open. Like, sure, Blizzard may be trying to like take some attention from them. It's like, because that's the only other like multiplayer game I could think that would be like, we need daddy Xbox's help. But honestly, I think they should focus on Halo. I think the Overwatch fans will be fine with the same guard for right now. And I know the Overwatch fans don't want to hear that, but like, y'all not gonna stop playing this game anytime soon. So let's be real. Let's give Halo some attention real quick, because once Halo gets off the ground, like once Halo gets off the ground, it's not gonna need as much as attention as Overwatch is gonna need. Let's call a spade a spade. Overwatch needs like crazy levels of attention if we really want to fix what the game is right now.
On me, honestly. You know what, for being a, you know what I'm saying, a routine Halo killer supporter, you know what I'm saying, that was a pretty solid response. I'm clapping up for you.
Yeah, because I don't want Halo to die, because I do think there's a place for Halo. Like, I love Splitgate, and I think that Halo could give me the Splitgate the Splitgate feeling, because it is what fucking Splitgate is based off of, without me having to learn the crazy map text that Splitgate had, right? Like, I think there is a space for Halo, but I think that it's just not, I think it's not, I don't know, like, I think at its core Infinite was great, but the content wasn't great. And I know that Infinite is way better now, is what I hear. So I definitely want to re-tap into that, because I'm not opposed to playing another shooter. But at the time, it's just like, when you had all of my attention, it just wasn't enough. And like, I remember trying to get my girlfriend to play it, and like and for some, like, the optimization wasn't necessarily the best on PC either. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like my girlfriend's PC was a fucking monster that it is now. But at the time, like, Master Chief didn't have thighs. I don't know why, but like, Master Chief had no thighs on that shit. It was just legs. It was just feet and fucking I can't remember what, but it was just so funny, because I'm like, this is such a random fucking problem that you have with this game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, again, Halo Infinite is now in apparently a profitable state. Apparently it's in a really healthy place. The content is there. They've made the tweaks, especially with the progression, with you know, things like that. It came a little bit too late, too late in terms of market reception, because consumers are going to be, again, it's like what's the name of that shit from Gears of War that General Rom had around him? I can't remember. Like the
asking the worst guy for anything Xbox related.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I completely forget, but I think it's Krill. I don't know. Anyways, that thing, like, it was the worst time. Consumers are ravenous, and they're gonna consume content at a massive pace. And if you can't sustain them with a quality gameplay loop and content that can hold them over for a certain amount of time to build that rapport and build that loyalty, especially in this new age where, again, people are coming in like they don't owe nobody shit. They don't want to give no time for nothing because almost everything is a free experience, so they can just move on to the next shit. There's much less room for time and you know what I'm saying, missteps and stuff like that in this level of gaming than we've seen for a long time, so possibly ever. But yeah, the gameplay was there from the rip. Halo Infinite, the gameplay was there, it's just the content wasn't. And with that, they've had their you know, their look back, their flaws, their failings of what the direction should be. And I think this whole statement about, again, them becoming Halo Studios and them setting off on a new path, I think this was the right statement to make. Let's get one thing straight: Xbox will never abandon Halo. They'll never do that shit. They'll never do it. And in my opinion, they shouldn't do it. It's one of the most recognizable names in gaming. Again, the TV show was the TV show, but the fact that they even have a TV show that had 2 seasons, even though the man took his mask off in episode like 1 or 2, the fact that they could do that shows the weight of this IP and this franchise in the entertainment world, in the gaming world, so on and so forth. So they're not going to stop. Get them having a reflective, restorative, reforming look at what Halo is supposed to be and how they want to create it. That is the best possible news that we could have gotten. Like, yo, listen, the people that were here that were kind of, you know, messing all this shit up and they weren't taking it in the direction that we wanted, they're gone. We have new faces, we have other people, we have teams that are, again, like reshaped and realigned on a goal. We're all on the same front, really pulling towards something that we think can make something happen, make something really shake for the franchise. Good. Unreal Engine 5, the Switch, this might be a very, very welcome change because of the constraints of graphical quality. I think one of the things that people were pointing out, people like Paris Lily and stuff like that, was how Halo was a technical, like, it was a technical standard. It was a technical standard of its time, and they kind of set the pace in a lot of ways for what technical quality was, for what the latest and greatest, you know, looked like in a game. I'm not the most in love with that concept, especially nowadays, because I want to just see great gameplay loops or just the great art that's there without the pure physical attributes and pure fidelity, like oh, next to realism or next to blah blah blah. I'm not as supportive in that boat, but for Halo and for that being one of their principles of pushing the bounds of what it means to be have graphical quality and have that sharpness and bring things to the next level in terms of that graphical, you know what I'm saying, display and what they push out in their execution. I think that's a good pillar to have, because I think that holds pretty consistent with the history and what they've been able to do. The one thing with the new direction, this new change, the gameplay is going to be a huge juncture. And I was talking with, again, the third wheel of this the podcast, man. Shout out to Kai, shout out to King. Talking with him the other day, and we were just going back and forth talking about Halo because we saw this news come up, and we were just like, the gameplay loop is a big point of contention. And he was telling me, at this day and age, people just want movement. The kids just want movement and all this, that, and the fourth. Go on a zip line and do, like, you know what I'm saying, all this other crazy. They want Titanfall on crack and all this stuff. And to an extent, I understand. But now this comes in a bit of conflict with what Halo is. Again, it's arena shooter to the core. It's a bit slower paced. It's gotten much faster over the years. Again, it has its own sprints and grapple hooks and stuff like that, which I think it's a good thing. But will the future of Halo mix or conflict with the future desires of what the consumer base will accept? You know what I'm saying? That's a harder question to answer for them, and I think that's probably one of their biggest questions as they move in this new direction. Will the kind of the base, the DNA of Halo, which is that more arena style, a bit more slower, a bit more methodical approach to what the gameplay speed and flow is. Will that be accepted and championed in this day and age, or in the future whenever this game drops? And that's the question they got to answer for themselves. I think personally, just me, I think this arena style still has value. It still has merit. It still has a lot of viability and fun and enjoyment that everybody can get into, because I mean, everything has their cycles, everything has their flow. In my opinion, again, the super movement games, like again, the Apexes, the Titanfalls, all that stuff like that, they have their spot, and I think they are dominating the overarching, you know, they're dominating the shooter space at large, as it were, right now. That's cool. I like them all playing when I want to, you know what I'm saying, do that. You see all Black Ops trying to come out with, again, doing the Omni movement stuff and all that, and all things like that. Movement is the big thing right now. Do they infuse a bit of that into their into more of their formula? I don't know. We'll see. But I think personally they shouldn't stray too far away from what makes Halo Halo, because I still think that arena style, that movement, that flow has more viability. Maybe it's finding a happy middle ground. I don't know. But me personally, I don't think they have to stray too far in terms of the gameplay loop. They just have to make the content there. My biggest gripe, again, is making sure the content is there. Their pillar, and I think they know this just as much as we all know this, the community and how they fostered community is their biggest strength. To me, Halo's biggest strength is how they brought community together throughout their history, how it's been built organically, how they supported it, all that jazz. That's their biggest asset. Before Halo, I mean, not before Halo, before Fortnite, before any creative stuff, before Minecraft and stuff that blew up, and it was Forge. Forge was one of these things. It was Gary's Mod and Forge, community creations. You know what I'm saying? At least two of the biggest players that I've seen in my time, those were the biggest pillars. Halo Forge was a part of that spirit of community building, and it went so far as to say the recognition from the devs helped, again, build this mutual relationship where, again, the community's fed off of, you know, the feedback and the recognition they get from the devs, and the devs are getting new content that they can push in certain regards and platform, and that adds so much life cycle to their game. You saw how detrimental it was to Halo Infinite to not have this game on, and not have Halo Infinite or Forge community creations. Again, my personal favorite, I ain't had no damn Griffball on this shit at launch, and I was mad because I was like, yo, okay, it's been like 3 weeks, where's Griffball go? Like, let's switch it up a little bit. Having that foundation of community from the rip is absolutely key for whatever they drop next, whatever they do. Gameplay, the direction, if the next Master Chief got like thick hips like Shakira and shit like that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If his hips don't lie, all that stuff, cool. But if you don't have the foundation and the experience of this next Halo with the community, if they're not tied, if they're not hand and fist together, then that's a misstep. Whatever you do next, that has to be there off the rip if you want to stand a chance in today's market. Because, again, believe it or not, whatever you drop, I feel like having a community built into your experience is one of the last like vestiges of like tried and true methods of survival in that level of gaming, in that level of multiplayer in this day and age. If you don't have the community to help you create or recognize creation in some degree, you're kind of already at a setback. If you're not a giant like Call of Duty, you know, I think you're at a disadvantage automatically. So having something where the community can pour into you just as much as you gave them an experience to pour into, that helps you and sets you apart and gives you a lot more lifespan than you could ever imagine. So whatever Halo does, whatever they do, that pillar of community needs to be, like, if it's not the center, it is damn near the center of one of two pillars, that in the gameplay or that in the fidelity, whatever you want. But the community aspect and weaving that into whatever you have, making sure that is ironclad in whatever you develop, that should be one of the top priorities for whatever comes next. But I have hope for this. I don't think they're again, Halo's a foregone IP. I think that they're gonna do right by it, and I think with that, if they take those things into consideration, they'll be back close to the top of the mountain where, you know, in my opinion, where they should be. But yeah, we'll see. Damn, the soapbox, man. Listen, I sound like I gotta. It's like I'm a part of the program, man. I sound like keys and shit. I feel like
we were not paid off.
Yeah, we were not paid by, you know what I'm saying? It would be nice to be paid, but this segment was not paid for by anybody, gang. I'm sorry. Listen, the USMC didn't sponsor us. I did not get no scholarships from New Mombasa and shit. That was just passion, all right? That was just the heart. It will be nice though. The check will be nice, you know what I'm saying? No cool down. Check the Gmail and shit, you know what I'm saying? Rate us 5 stars while you at it. Anyways, let's get into the quick bites. Let's talk about some of these smaller stories that we saw from this week and run through them. Listen, when you're sleeping wrong, you're sleeping wrong. Your sleep schedule, how you do things, your routine is wrong because you don't have Nintendo ALARMO, baby. The brand new Nintendo alarm clock that is chock full of Nintendo sounds and again, music and stuff like that, compatible with other, again, I think twin to king size beds in any bed size, I think it was. Doesn't interact with any other devices. It's its own thing. It will be out in January 2025. When you getting this Nintendo ALARMO, man? When are you fixing your life?
Let me think. First I gotta download Pokemon Sleep 2 and sync it. That's the only I'm not. Why? Sure, and whatever. I guess. I'm sure. The thing is that like we're like this is stupid, but I'm also like 27. Like I'm never gonna get good sleep ever in my life again. I've already accepted that.
That's
so
crazy.
Like. I'm sure some kid is gonna be geeked, and you know what? If I had a kid, I'd probably get him this shit too, because it'd probably be adorable. But like me, yeah, no, I am pretty good off of this.
Yeah. The funniest shit about this to me was the fact they said, yo, it works with one person in the room sleeping, but if there are multiple people sleeping in that bed, it is not. It doesn't function as well, or there's some things that just don't register fully. So you gotta kind of be maidenless to use this shit, which is crazy. A child or maidenless if you a grown-ass person try to use this, which is funny as hell. I know exactly who this is for the most part. But if you
know what they're saying.
If you copping this and you're in a relationship with somebody, you're like, hey gang, I gotta go sleep. I gotta wake up in the morning early, so I'm gonna need you to like sleep outside, or else I will not hear the Mario pipe sound at 7:30. Sorry, just excuse me, gang. Like, what is that?
I just feel like I could already like imagine your relationship has been on the rocks for a little bit, and then boom, your girl comes home with an ALARMO. You know you're cooked.
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah, bro. She walked in that box like, oh, I'm on the couch, huh? I'm on the couch, huh?
Like, all right, bet. I'll pack my things.
Hey man, if you're getting outmoded for that alarm, man, give up. It's done. Oh shit, we can slide on here. Let's talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Ubisoft will not be a one-time appearance on this show. We've heard rumors though that Assassin's Creed Shadow will have a co-op mode that is on the way. Again, there's been some rumors. There's been from Tom Henderson, Insider Gaming, and all those usual suspects and sources that have been talking about it. It should be post-launch content. We're not sure if it's an own character or just between Yasuke and Naoe, but there is that solid sourcing and widespread reporting that co-op mode is coming for AC Shadows. When? How do you feel?
I think that's pretty cool, honestly. I myself have never had a good experience with Assassin's Creed multiplayer in any capacity. Shout outs to Unity and shout outs to I played a little bit of 3's multiplayer, but by the time I got my hands on 3, which was like, it was already over.
3 was kind of cooked. Brotherhood, however, fantastic multiplayer.
That's the one. No. That's the one I meant. I got my hands on Brotherhood, but by the time Brotherhood was like, I got my hands on Brotherhood way after Brotherhood was like out of rotation.
Word. Yeah.
Because I didn't get a PS3 until like a long time into its
you ran into the real guild, the tryhards, brother. That shit was cooked.
Yeah,
that shit was cooked.
The only people still playing that shit definitely had the tech and all that shit ready. I was like confused as fuck.
You ran into some real auditores, bro. I was like, damn, bro, you ran into the real family, gang. But
yeah, that shit was whack. Well, not whack. It was fun, but I was just like, I didn't have the same experience as everybody else.
Yeah.
But like, I played Unity. That shit did not work ever.
At fucking all.
And then so like this isn't really like when I hear Assassin's Creed multiplayer, I don't care because I don't really have any fond memories of this. But a good working co-op mode would be sick in this, especially in this like in this version, not this version, this game because it has that co-op thing already built. Not co-op, but like it has 2 characters built in. Like Syndicate. Like if Syndicate had a co-op mode, I think it would have been dope. But it just has to work, right? Like that's the biggest thing is like all this shit on paper looks cool, but like Ubisoft is like the company that I think on paper looks great. But then when it comes to execution, it doesn't work, you know? Like, yo, we have a sick Star Wars game, and it's like, oh, awesome. Is everybody loving it? Like, it's everything you would want in a Star Wars game, and it's like, oh, is it good? Like, and that's the thing that sucks so much about Ubisoft is that they have so much potential, but the execution is almost never there.
Yeah, and that's a pain. I agree. I just want to see if it works. If it works, we'll be okay, because when it works, co-op and multiplayer formats in Assassin's Creed are generally really fun. You know what I'm saying? At least off of the few morsels of gameplay experience that we've gotten so far over the years. But then co-op mode, again, it's built into that system. I don't think we've seen co-op in a long time in any Assassin's Creed format off the top of my head, but I think that's a welcome change. Again, you know me, co-op whore. I would love it. That would be great. Yeah, just make it work. Just make it work. Yeah. Just don't crash my PC, you know, to make this thing run. That's all I ask. All right, man.
I don't know if they can guarantee that, brother.
Jeez, I just gotta wish upon a star for that shit. Gotta use an apple of Eden to make y'all shit optimized, bro. That really what we gotta do at this stage, bro? Shit ridiculous. Anywho, let's slide on and talk about a new game that has dropped when you sat down and had some time with Ravenswatch. Can you give me the lowdown? Talk to me about what you saw, what you felt, what you played, and how you feel about Ravenswatch.
So I had Ravenswatch. I want to say I've had it for a while now. When I first saw, not when I first saw it, but I want to say like halfway through its early access, I copped up because I was like, this is going to be the game for me. So I absolutely loved Ravenswatch when I played it, but the thing that sucks about, and this is why I really hate buying roguelikes on early access, which is why I still haven't bought what's this game, Wizards of Legend 2. I don't want to wait because with these games I want to dive into it and play it as much as possible and then never look at it again or come back like a couple months later. Like these games like consume me. But Ravenswatch, absolutely fun time. Really cool concept. Like you have characters here that you will know. It's like kind of like, it's basically like when you go into playing Hades and you're like, oh, I know about this person, I know about this person, I know about this person because I've read these stories and I know these characters. So when you have Geppetto from Pinocchio, when you have fucking Little Red Riding Hood, you have Aladdin, you have like all these like old folktale characters. It's really dope because you're now able to be like, yo, Geppetto uses puppets to fight for him, and that's really cool. The builds are sick. The graphics are really nice, and on top of everything, it's kind of difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you. The only like negatives I have of this game is that if you got a bad build, you're kind of cooked, which is like most of these games is like that. If you have a bad build, it is what it is. But like it's so tough because the game in and of itself isn't gonna like destroy you right away. You're just kind of like slowly bleeding. You're like, wow.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, actually, I should probably just give you a little rundown of what the game is like. You spawn into a level and you have a timer. You have basically 3 in-game days to get all the materials you need to fight the boss, right? So you're gonna go in there, you're gonna farm up some money to either buy some upgrades. There's different events on the map that you can go to unlock new abilities, to unlock new perks. And essentially in those 3 days, you want to get as much stuff as possible because at the end you have to fight the nightmare, which is the boss, the level in the boss level. The problem is the timeline sometimes feels short, and it's not even a problem. It's more like a skill issue, right? If you're not being the most efficient as possible, you're gonna slowly lose out on potential of being strong. So that when you get to the last boss, you're getting hooked, man. Now the game gives you like 6 lives, so if you die, you can just come back and like fight right where you left off. They're called Raven Feathers. So you use a Raven Feather and then you come back. It's really it's a cool gameplay loop. For example, if you're playing as, and some characters actually either benefit, not benefit, but the time of day changes how they fight. So Piper, for example, he uses notes. He plays his he's like a ranged character. His notes that he plays on his I guess pipe, does the damage to the monsters. But during the day, his right trigger is a scattered shot, kind of like a shotgun, very close range. But at night, it just goes straight, kind of like a not a sniper, but like an AR. And that changes the way you fight, because you'll be fighting in the day and at nighttime. So like you have to keep cognizant of that. Little Red Riding Hood, for example, is an assassin during the day, and at night she becomes a werewolf. So like you have to play it as like a brawler, as opposed to like going in there and running and gunning. So it's really interesting. I think the game is worth I think it's really good. I think it's worth checking out. And if you're somebody who's like, you don't even have to be a fan, but if you're somebody who knows about these things, like, oh man, like I saw Sinbad in the game and I was like, oh snap, that's kind of cool. Like I was a fan of that, so I have been enjoying it. Good multiplayer. You can play I think it's up to 4 players, and it kind of plays like Diablo. So if you're a fan of Diablo, this is definitely the game for you.
Nah, here, man, that's a lowdown, man. That's a lowdown. So yeah, keep that solid eye on Ravenswatch, man. If it's tickling your fancy, lock in. I hear it. All right, let's slide on here. Let's talk about Metal Gear Solid. We have some news that came through about just a direction on what's coming next, what we might want to see. And the Metal Gear Solid series producer, Noriaki Okamura, he said he doesn't want to shut down the possibility of more remakes, but he wants to make sure the series is preserved before continuing on. Again, he acknowledges the fact that most of the original team is gone. They're out of there from Konami, and they want to make sure that there's a pathway for people to see and have access to Metal Gear for, the next 10 to 50 years in the future. And he's also made a statement about, like, Metal Gear Solid 1 would be kind of just ridiculously hard to make at this point, because we just don't have the ways to translate it to the modern era. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things now, changing entire gameplay loops, changing entire cutscenes and how things are made. They just don't have that capability to do that, so they much rather preserve than remake certain things like MGS1, MGS2 than just rebuild it from the ground up like MGS3. When you are a resident Metal Gear Solid fan, I know your heart was broken that damn day when Kojima and them broke up, but how do you feel about this news?
A little bit of one lore before you kind of triggered something in me. I wasn't heartbroken because I heard about how bad they were working. Yeah, not even treating him like I'm like his dad or something, but I heard how bad their relationship was by the time I got there. So when he quit, it was kind of one of those like, it's like when your boy says like, yo, I think I'm out of this bitch, and like, yeah man, you kind of making some money now, the motherfuckers fuck with you, yeah, you should definitely leave. But that's not important right now. Do I think this is a good thing for Konami? Like I love that they want to preserve shit, because we know damn well Konami was one of the first people that started doing NFTs when NFTs were a thing. So like, this isn't really like, I'm happy to hear somebody cares, because there's Castlevania NFTs if I'm not mistaken right now. So
good lord, like
who like they weren't gonna do it. I love hearing that level of like love and respect for the game. It's definitely a breath of fresh air. Do I think they have it in them? I do, but the problem is like, I just can't imagine Konami, the company, being like, yeah, we're gonna do this instead of like chasing a quick buck, Yeah. I agree. I don't want to say I agree, because I don't know anything about game design, but I'm gonna assume that they're not lying when they say like it would be really hard to recreate all of MGS1, because that game is old, right? Like that game is dated, and that's one of the games that like I always recommend Metal Gear Solid, but that's one of the ones that like I love myself, but it's really hard to recommend because it's so old. And like I want to be able to be like, oh babe, just pick this up and you'll love it, but it's like, you gotta get through MGS1 and then everything gets a little bit better. I actually didn't like MGS2. I think that's my least favorite one. So like that one is also another one where I feel like it's a little bit of a slog, but after that it's straight peak every single time. Even 5 that wasn't the best, I think is really, really good as a game, and like as a game from a gameplay standpoint. We'll see what happens though. I would like for them to preserve it as well. I wouldn't hate if they brought MGS1 into like a newer like graphics and maybe even some gameplay aspects. I think you kind of got to keep some of the gameplay of MGS1. Like one of the things I loved about MGS1 is that like when I killed the guard, he disappeared, which is super clutch. I think I was also playing it on like super easy because I hated stealth games at the time. So like I was like, I'm just gonna play this game because I just want like to know MGS shit, and then put it on super easy. And I was like, oh, thank God I don't have to worry about hiding a body. But like I think MGS1 was a staple in PlayStation history, and I would love to see it recreated. I would have loved to see that recreated more than 3, honestly, because I love 3. I love 3. It's my favorite game of all time. But the reason I would have wanted to see 1 is just because I think 1 is a little bit more in need of a remake, right? Like that's the one that I think people definitely needed a little bit of love. But I think 3 is amazing, and I think Metal Gear Solid Delta looks amazing. But MGS1 has not been touched, and maybe that's a good thing, because I hope I never get to regret these words where like they remake MGS1 and that shit is disgusting, you know?
Yeah, no, I understand. Honestly, I like this stance, especially with the fact that he mentioned like, yo, bruh, all the motherfuckers that made this, they're gone. Like,
they're left.
We have no base of reference to do anything with this, bro. Why are we gonna touch this? No, it didn't make any sense, and that's logical. That makes perfect sense, bro. If you don't have the expertise to touch something, don't touch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can refurbish, cool. But if you don't have that line, if you can't call Kojima up and say, hey, I know shit was rough, but you think you want to remake this with us? We'll give you the bag and just do whatever. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. And even then, it's not Kojima alone. You had a whole team of people who were Konami vets that worked on these original games, and it's like they're not here. They didn't have anybody to disseminate that knowledge, the know-how, and they're just retired doing their own thing. You know what I'm saying? Who knows where they are? So staying away from it and choosing to just refurbish, or if you had to make an option or had a choice to just refurbish the game and preserve it for future generations, that is the best route. Game preservation over everything. I like that. As I'm getting older, I'm more and more in the mood and the mindset of I want to see things with the context of how they were as best as possible. Again, like, there's certain graphical fidelity things that you got to account for and blah blah blah, but if you can show me the full context of how this game looked, how it played, what were these little key, you know what I'm saying, things of that time and how it came together in that package, just looks a little bit sharper, but it's that package. If you can kind of give me that full historical context of how the project came together in its final package, in that package of how it's refurbished, I would appreciate that more than just a full-blown remake of everything, in my opinion. Because again, the more I'm looking at games and game media and everything like that, I really do want to start separating remake from like the original versions. In my head, it's just like, oh, it's not like the file is overwritten. No, it's just a different file completely. These are two different experiences that have their their gameplay differences, and they might follow a same certain line with the original to the remake, but these are two different things. So I think we should give more respect to game preservation, and the fact that people and producers are thinking like this, and like, we just want to hold that game where we don't have the know-how and the expertise to kind of tinker with it too much. I think that's good. Again, I hope that isn't the only place where this thought spawns from. I hope that there's more people organically saying, yo, we should just preserve this shit so that people can see it. Maybe we'll do our own project with it down the line, but in the least, we want people to have access to what it was when it first came out, to that prime first iteration of it, and we can move from there. So I like that.
No, I love it. I genuinely do. I think that a lot more companies should have that level of respect, and seeing Konami, which I feel like, and no disrespect to Konami, has some of the least amount of respect for some of their IPs. I think this is a really good step for them in their redemption arc. Hopefully it lasts longer than it might. Hopefully they're actually sticking strong to this, because the higher ups could easily just be like, man, fuck that shit.
Yeah, honestly, but we'll see. But I like the mentality. I like the mindset. We need more of this generally.
Yeah,
honestly. All right, we can slide on here. We can talk about Sony. There's been some rumors that have been swirling around about what they have planned next. Apparently there are some big Sony remasters, some big PlayStation remasters that are on the way. Again, as we go from the end of the PS5 cycle into the PS6, there have been some words about stuff that may be on the horizon. And again, Nixxes may be in the mix a lot again, as they are the kind of the I guess the main go-tos when it comes to porting stuff and refurbishing and remastering stuff in PlayStation's first party. And this also comes in contact with a story that apparently next spring we're getting the announcement or something about God of War, the Greek trilogy, the original, Greek games, that they're going to be remastered and brought to a new platform. So with that, there's plans to drop big remasters, and I don't know. How do you feel about this? Because I feel like there might be something. There could be something bigger here if there's smoke and fire to this. But I don't know how you feel.
Well, I'm happy that you used the word Horizon, because of all the games that I think need a remaster. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't even know. Yo, shut up, man.
I am of the camp that I think we would benefit from a lot of remasters that PlayStation has in their backlog. Now, will we get those? I don't know. A game that I would love to see remastered would be something like Jak and Daxter, man.
Yep, facts.
A franchise that I feel like just fell by the wayside.
Facts.
Another one would be like, I honestly, and I know this is crazy, Uncharted 1 could use a remaster, because I remember replaying that and being like, eesh. But there's just so many more, like Ratchet & Clank Deadlock, the old Ratchet & Clank games, like bringing them into a new, because Ratchet & Clank Deadlock, man, talk about a multiplayer game. That shit was gas. They could have did something. They could have did something then, but they were just like, nah, let's just leave it, I guess. Like, I don't know. But all in all, I think this is smart for them. I would love to see the Greek collection. Like that is, I love the new Kratos, but you can't have the new Kratos without the old Kratos, right? And I think there may be some people who haven't ever experienced that level of fucking hate that motherfucker had in his heart, Like we need to. I want to be able to do the quick time event where you push your daughter off. Like that shit is gas. We need more of that,
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
Like that. I mean, it's what happened though. Like that shit was.
That's definitely what happened. That's crazy. That's crazy QTEs, man. That's crazy QTEs.
Yeah, but I think this is probably a step in the right direction. But no, I don't want to say right in the money making direction, because like, we see how much love the little robots in Astrobot got from just being like looking slightly like Snake. Like that shit is, and everybody's like, oh look who they put. Like you can see that there's a lot of love for these characters, man. So I just hope that this is something that they take seriously and perform well too. Like I don't want this to be a cash grab. But with Sony, they don't ever really do something I feel like half-assed. They just take forever to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that, because actually, I'm going to retract that statement.
Some of them,
I can't recall
yeah,
something half-assed, but when it comes to certain things like this, when it comes to their history, I feel like they take their time with it.
Yeah, nah, that's fair. I'll call it. You want to say something half-assed, some of that marketing or something.
No, I was like, motherfuckers from Concord are looking at me crazy right now.
What do you mean? Oh shit. Side note, they still updating it. They're apparently doing like side updates for that game for Concord.
Yeah. It might just be the developers were like, hey man, I built this shit. I'm putting it in there.
Listen, I can fix it. Honestly, low key, they probably are gonna like push that thing to free to play. But that's not the point. That is beside the point, because we want to talk about these remasters. Again, on one hand, I think this is good, because again, we want to see classic IPs that have had a long time out of the limelight back into it at this stage. I would love that. That would be great. Again, God of War right up my alley. I would love for the old sagas, the original trilogy, Ascension, Ghost of Sparta, all those games to come back. That will be great, getting a new, again, refurbished look. That is wonderful. That probably lines up with more shit that they plan to drop with the God of War show. Whatever game is coming next, whatever DLC is coming next, which I assume will be happening over the next like 3 to 4 years, maybe a launch title for PS6. We'll see. That's just up in the smoke plans that I hope come true. But for more remasters, again, there is the face value of, yes, do it, motherfucker. We want to see more Jak and Daxter. We want to see more Sly Cooper. Where is Infamous? Where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yes.
Where is it? Bro, you're in a time where superheroes and hero shows are making a killing. We haven't seen anything about Infamous in a literal decade. It's been a decade. It dropped at the beginning of the last main joint. Dropped at the beginning the beginning of the PS4. That's insane. That's insane, bro. I know they working on the Ghost IP, but it just was it Insomniac or Sucker Punch? I'm trying to remember on the top of my head.
No, it's Sucker Punch.
Okay, cool. I know they're working on the Ghost IP. That I get it, but send Nixus over to do a refresh. Just refresh it real quick and bring it back, and then we'll see what happens. And I think this is the bigger thing with what apparently these plans are. Again, if they are true, taking this with a grain of salt, but assuming they are true, and Sony wants to kind of reformat like maybe 5 to 10 IPs that they're bringing back for remasters and bring some at the back catalog. This could be another proving ground, another testing ground to gauge the audience on how much they want these IPs. And again, this could set us up for another wave or another era of them trying to push a couple other, people into this current Sony format where they want to be again omni-channel, omni-market, just have this IP as a huge juggernaut in games, TV, movies, anime and all stuff like that. Excuse me. They want to have those omni-channel setups. Again, I understand. This could be the next proving ground to see what fits that criteria or what has potential to fit that criteria at this juncture. So if we're getting Infamous, if we're getting Sly Cooper, if we're getting Jack and Daxter, if we're getting Parappa the Rapper, bring it back. If we're getting a bunch of other stuff in this wave and people react well to it, that could be more of the indication they need to be like, all right, cool, then we'll press the button on it. We know Sony are going to take their damn time. Like you said, they are going to take their time, but this could be, if true, this could be the prelude to seeing other IPs that we know and love come back in a big way with projects in the future if they're received well with this phase of remastering.
Yeah.
At least that's just what I think. I don't know. We'll see. But let's slide on here. I know Wen had his correspondence segment. Now it's time for mine. I want to sit down and talk about a game that I was talking about. We were talking about for a long time on the podcast. I know I was jumping into it with stuff on my personal channel with shorts and all that. But let's talk about Parcel Core. Parcel Core, again, was a kind of a biking, skilling game. It feels like Bomb Rush, Jet Set mixed with Crazy Taxi. You are basically a courier going in this huge, crazy city, making deliveries, kind of putting your company on your back, literally and figuratively, and racing around town, making things happen. Of course, came from Billy Goat Entertainment. Shout out to Secret Mode for sending the code over to, again, no cooldown. We appreciate that. I had some time to sit down with it, and get some time to soak it in, get some impressions and all that stuff like that. Here's what I have to say. I will say the skew of this game surprised me. Again, there's the dichotomy of it being part what's it called, Jet Set in nature, and part Crazy Taxi in nature, with the the style of it, the kind of more cell shaded stuff, the tricks, the bikes and all that. I will say the skew is like 70-30 Crazy Taxi. It's more Crazy Taxi than it is Jet Set in gameplay. In function, I think it's more Crazy Taxi. In how it looks, in the form, I think it looks more Jet Set, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I was just wondering what that skew was going to be like, and that's what we got. I think the tricking and stuff, the controls, they're a little bit to get used to. They're definitely an adjustment, but once you get the hang of it, I liked it. I like the slides, felt pretty intuitive and stuff like that. The slides, the jumps, the environment looks super geared towards you scaling and getting around and stuff, which was nice. I will say, again, the world looks super dope. I think the dialogue and between the company people and all that is really funny, which, again, I love more like the witty stuff in like the latter games. I just ran through the Plucky Squad recently, and I love that writing that's just kind of like witty, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't take itself too seriously in a package like that, so I like that. The structures of the missions and stuff, the actual getting around with the boost and stuff, I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun so far, and I'm gonna get back into it and keep giving myself upgrades and stuff to see what the full extent of it is. I need to do more more digging into like maybe some of the tricky and stuff like that. I know you have some of them that are like pretty basic, but I think from my first play sessions with Parcel Core, the bag of tricks is kind of limited, which is kind of a drawback for me, honestly. I would have liked more like more free rolling, more free tricking and stuff like that, but again, this kind of attributes to what I'm talking about in the skew of it. It's more crazy taxi and racing to one place to get this delivery done, this place to check the, you know what I'm saying, to check XYZ. I would say for me, I would love to have more of that trick stuff in the bag. I think the environments are really, really cool and open up opportunity for the tricks, but just the inputs themselves, like, damn, all right, I got this one, I got these couple of ones. It's cool, you know what I'm saying? But I would have wanted more in terms of open tricks that you can perform, you know, just in the world as you're riding around. One cool thing I saw was like the chat in the top right. So basically they have like this pseudo Twitch chat type of thing where like, if you're you know, you're doing good, you're pacing, you're racing and stuff like that, your view count will go up slightly. You'll have people commenting good things of like, oh dang, that was sick, that was a good trick, blah blah blah. But if you're ass, they're literally gonna be like, yo, why is this dude even streaming? Why the hell is he even here? Which is funny. It's like a whole heckle, it's like a whole like love hurt system and stuff like that in the top right with the chat. I thought that was a very funny addition, because I ain't gonna lie, at some point I was checking those chats, I was checking it like it was a real Twitch stream. I was like, bro, what they talking shit for, bro? I'm trying to get on the scaffolding and I just can't do it because of the boost. And he's like, yo, this guy's trash, poop emojis. And I'm like, all right, you're a piece of shit.
That's so funny.
Screw you guys, screw you. But again, very funny in how that plays out. So I thought that was hilarious. The delivery rush modes and stuff, once you collect certain, I guess, enough reputation with these brands and stuff, the storefronts, enough loyalty that you get this little delivery rush mode that you like, basically like the culmination of that whole area that you play in, and be like, okay, deliver this to there, you know what I'm saying? Use all your skills that you have to you know, maneuver around the environment and get these deliveries on time and get a high enough score so you can move on to the next, and basically cement brand loyalty in that area for the company that you chose. And I think that was cool, you know what I'm saying? That was really, really cool. Helped kind of test your skill, kind of like a test your, again, test your metal type of thing, and culminates what you learn in an area. I think there's about a few areas that you have to get through. The total game is about like 7, actually no, maybe like 9 to 12. I think it's 9 to 12. I'm a couple hours in. But listen, so far I'm enjoying it. I wish there was more in terms of the skilling bag. Again, it's a pretty condensed package, but I would say, again, I forgot how much this was on tap. I think it was like $30. Oh, yeah, like $30. So for about $30, $29.99, I would give this probably a 7, like a solid 7 out of 10. I think this has its enjoyable moments. I think there's enough in the package to give you a solid, like, you know, couple play sessions of really, really good fun. I want to see what the different characters are, and like if there's any further boost, I want to report back on that. But so far, I'm sticking with the 7. I think it's really solid gameplay. I wish there was more in the skilling bag, it's one of the big things that I'm looking for in games that look like this. I'm not mad at the crazy taxi infusion, it being more of that, but you know, that's just kind of where my mind's at on it. But I think it's a fun game. I think it's actually a pretty fun game, and I had no qualms like going through. The soundtrack is actually pretty dope too, and just going riding, listening, and kind of doing what you do in those usual type of games with the jet sets and the bomber cyberpunk. So yeah, that's pretty much my first thoughts on it. 7. If you got $30 and a spare weekend, I would say, you know what I'm saying, do that to break up the monotony in certain things. If you playing mobiles too damn much, stop playing a damn mobile, go play Parcel Core for a little bit and spice up your life, you know what I'm saying? But that's all I got for that.
No, that sounds awesome. I definitely have to check it out, because it definitely was a game that I remember we both, I think, saw the reveal and I was like, damn, this looks sick. No, 100 bro. Like it's a tidy little game. It's a tidy little game, and again, it's not gonna tax you like other games nowadays may tax you. It's like, bro, like, what the fuck, you're gonna be here for 50 hours learning tech, doing all this shit. Nah, it's a pretty light, easily approachable experience, and I think it provides the fun for its dollar amount. All right, sliding on here, let's sit down and talk about Red Dead Redemption. After like 50 years, bro. Okay, maybe it's like 14, but 50 years it feels like. Red Dead Redemption and its Undead Nightmare DLC is actually going to be on PC. It's actually going to be on PC coming October 29th. After the long wait of people saying this shit's never coming to PC, it finally came to PC officially. How you feel? I love that. I really enjoyed the Undead Nightmares, and honestly, I don't think I'm gonna get it anytime soon because I still have to beat Red Dead 2. Like I'm close to it, but I'm like, I had to take a break because I'm just not ready for that emotional trauma that I'm gonna have to go through. But I want to beat 2 before I beat this one, but like people being able to access Undead Nightmare is just chef's kiss, man. That game was out of rotation for too long. And don't get me wrong, it's not that every single game needs to get ported over, but not being able to access certain games just doesn't make sense anymore in this day and age, especially when like people are emulating PS3 games for free at this point. And there's no excuse for certain games not being able to be on consoles. We're looking at you, Nintendo, for randomly just pulling shit that doesn't need to get pulled from any kind of storefront. Like, just let us play the games we enjoyed, man. It's just let's not be greedy now.
It's a shit, honestly. And you know what, PC gamers, we won, baby. After 14 years sitting down, waiting, biding our time, we did it. They broke eventually, man. It's just funny. Like, at this point, it's becoming more of an inevitability. I think that's the craziest case. People really said this shit would never drop on PC. It would never come. And damn, it's just here. You know what I'm saying? Like, which is wild. I would consider giving this a replay now. I would definitely heavily consider giving this another play, honestly. And not when it drops, because too many games are dropping in October, and that's like 3 days after Black Ops 6. So if it's not Sparking Zero or any single player game that's in my backlog, it will be Black Ops 6. So I gotta hold it off. But I am glad that we finally broke ground on this. Like, dog, let that go and start dropping games on PC sooner. 14 years is a bit too long, guys. It's a tad bit too long. All right. Honestly, man. But we can slide on here. We can talk about the trailer trove, the section with more watchable media, the anime, TV, movies, and all that stuff like that. When did you hear about this brand new dynamic duo movie from DC Studios? Not only that, they were talking about, again, like the plot, the premise and stuff, but this whole new kind of animation style. It's pretty actually interesting. Again, the movie's gonna be centered on the Robins, of course, but this animation style from this studio is like a mix of CGI, puppetry, live action stuff. It's a lot. Swaybox is going to be at the helm for this. It looks super interesting with the footage. So how you feeling about this?
I love the concept of the movie. I think the animation, as I saw in their little thing, is really weird, but in a good way, you know? Like, it just looks something like, it looks kind of like, you know, the feeling you get when you watch Into the Spider-Verse for the first time, and you're like, this animation is just so unique, and like, you don't know. At first I didn't know if I hated it or loved it, but now I know that I love it. And that's kind of how I feel about this. It's like, man, I think when you do this the right way, this can be really fucking sick. And I think that's where they're heading, into a really good product.
Yeah, I agree. And again, in a time where a lot of people think that the easy route in trying to drop AI, you know what I'm saying, filled bullshit in movies and art in general, investing time and resources into full creative endeavors like this, where they're fusing so many different concepts together, and it will take a strong outfit and effort to produce. I think this is dope. I think this is crazy. I think this is something out of left field that would actually pay dividends in a movie like that. Again, people might not be as open to where the style maybe, again, I don't know why I thought Wallace and Gromit at first, because I mean, it feels kind of stop motiony in like how the frames were set up in some regards, but I think this has a lot of viability when it comes to like a Robin's origin story, like a dynamic duo origin story. You know what I'm saying, with the younger superheroes and younger heroes and stuff like that. This could work. I think it really could work, and I'm interested to see what comes of the, you know, the first trailer, the first footage we actually get of this. I'm interested, man. I hope for this sake that this movie is really good, because honestly, the more I look at it, I want to see more movies in this style. Like, that would be dope to kind of look at. Like, you think about really, you think about kind of the alternative animated, you know what I'm saying, style things like Fantastic Mr. Fox, again, all the Wallace and Gromit stuff like Chicken Run, stop motion, claymation, all that type of things. I really enjoyed those types of movies in that animation style. They're really cool and just a different perspective on the eye, and seeing that in a superhero context, that would be really cool. So I think it'd
be really dope. It just gives you, I think it's a breath of fresh air, you know. And honestly, I think that's what we really need and I think something that DC needs to differentiate themselves. It's like, I think when Spider-Man, people were kind of getting burnt on Spider-Man. Not really, but like, I felt like the everyday thing of like, oh, another Sony movie, like, we're so over it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse bought Sony so much good faith it's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, Sony could put out every awful fucking B-list Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man villain movie they want, but if they drop any of the fucking Into the Spider-Verse movies, it's automatic that those theaters are gonna be packed.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But yeah, we gonna see about it, man. We gonna see about it. Moving on here, we have got a run-in with the Like a Dragon Yakuza trailer. When I know this is a soft spot, you know what I'm saying? Again, there's a lot of conflicts of interest here. But what do you think about the trailer for the live action adaptation?
I think the live action adaptation looks like a cool show, a cool Like a Dragon show. I have yet to see it. Like, I think I have to see it, but I think if I'm not mistaken, I read somewhere that Haruka isn't going to be a part of the story, which is really weird when you think of the actual game, how important she was to that game. Like, she was, if not the most important character outside of Kiryu, because it just means a lot, right? So when I watched the trailer, it looked cool. I love the way that it, like, I don't know if it's, I guess the cinematography of it all. It looks like, I don't want to say low budget. It just looks authentic. It looks very much on the ground, right? That's what I really, really enjoyed when I was watching this trailer, is that it just felt like it kind of reminded me of like the first scene from Kung Fu Hustle, which is like so specific. But like
that's
like,
mad specific. But I see what you're saying. That's I hear it.
It just gives that like the lighting, all of it just feels like there are times where it was like
minus a dance number.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just was just very like when they were in the police station, it's just gritty. Like I loved it. Because my biggest fear is when I was seeing the key art and stuff of like Kiryu and whatnot, I was like, it looks like grayscale-y. Like it just looked like they're trying to do a little too much. And I think it looks really grounded, which in the context of Like a Dragon isn't necessarily the best thing, because that game is very much not super grounded.
Yeah.
But I think if they find the right balance of like grounded until it's not, it's gonna make those moments where it's not grounded all the more special. Like if you're just like, oh, this is like a regular dude, and then he just like stops a motorcycle with his hand or some shit, you can be like, no. Oh, I forgot, this is Like a Dragon, you know? Like that's what I'm hoping for.
Word.
But all in all, I will be checking it out, but it's not high priority on my list right now. I might even wait a little bit to hear what other people have to say, like other fans of the franchise have to say, because like just from what I've heard in the interviews of like, we don't really care too much about playing the game ourselves. It's just not a good look, man. It's just not a good look.
Nah, that's serious, bro. That's serious. And I'm gonna take your word for it, man. I'm gonna take your word for it. I gotta let you take point on that one, man. This is your franchise. It's your franchise, brother. But we can slide on here and let's talk about the rest of these stories here. That's it for the trailer trove. Real quick, I literally just threw this on the notes, just like a quick 30-second one. Until Dawn 2 is being teased at this point, and I don't know if you have any interest in this one. I don't know if you want to jump into it. I've seen it's being teased by Hayden Panettiere, who's one of the main characters on the original game. Peter Stormare, who was the therapist in a lot of those cutscenes in Until Dawn, he teased something on his story as well over the past couple of hours. So it seems like Until Dawn 2 is having some type of rollout over the next foreseeable future.
I think that's not a bad idea. Those games are really good. Like for what they are, like they're kind of like, if you ever have a partner who doesn't like video games, but you want to get them to play a game, just play Until Dawn. It's very much like, hey, it's movie night we can control. I think it's such a good idea. And like, don't get me wrong, another game that I think could also have that potential is like the Walking Dead games. But those games, while they're not long, are still kind of like a little bit of a commitment. But a game like Until Dawn, it's one continuous story in one game. Like, you don't ever have to, like when I used to play the Walking Dead games, I was always like, man, I'm gonna stop it at this episode or whatever. And so it felt like watching a TV show together. But like Until Dawn, like, nah, those games will always have a special place, I think. But having a sequel, like, yeah, dude, please, no matter what, like, please get the sequel out. I think Until Dawn, the remaster, didn't sell super well this time around, but I also think it's because the game is super like old at this point and everybody has probably played it. So for a PS5 remaster that I think you have to buy, I'm pretty good off of that.
What was the point of it? And again, I saw some of the some excerpts that they were like kind of putting side by side with the old version and new version. Especially those points like Remy Malik was like on the phone showing like a recording, like that part where he was like showing a phone message to the friends. And I'm like, bro, I don't know which one is the old and which one's the new. Like that's actually kind of crazy. That's bad. That's bad. They were saying that this thing sold like 71% of Concord's total sales. And when you're using Concord as a unit of measurement at this stage in life, that's not good. That's not good, bro. You sold less than Concord is crazy. You know what I'm saying? You can't be using that as a common term. That's ridiculous. So Until Dawn hopefully is a much bigger jump forward. All the dark picture games have their merit to them, like you said, the interactive style. They haven't really done anything that's like too like, you know, uninteresting in my opinion for that genre, but we'll see. All right, listen, y'all, Parcel Core wasn't the only, you know what I'm saying, little look in that we got, because your boys was tapped in. We were tapped in with Windblown. Yes, Windblown is a brand new 3-player co-op that is a roguelike RPG kind of like action game. Wonderful game coming from the creators of Dead Cells. Super dope game. We managed to get a free, you know what I'm saying, a free code. Shout out to the codes and shout out to the early access experience. Shout out to Motion Twin for shooting the codes our way to get involved in this. This is a game that we have talked about before pretty extensively on the pod and just in general. So yeah, Windblown. I believe it drops on October 24th, but we had some time to play it over the past week and change and just give our first impressions and thoughts. You know what I'm saying? This is also another game that is like filling up my rotation right now that I need to I need to commit some time, or else I'm gonna lose my sanity. I'm gonna lose my sanity committing to all these games, but I'm gonna do it anyways because fuck it, I love games. But Windblown. Talk to me about what you saw for Windblown so far. How do you feel?
Really good. I actually stopped. I had to uninstall it, not because I hate the game, I really like it, but like I said earlier about Ravenswatch, I can't play these games without the full game being out because I'm gonna be disappointed, because I'm gonna be like, dog, I need more. And I'm probably gonna go back and play like a couple more hours into it, because we only got like a small snippet of what the game's gonna have. I think we got 2 biomes as opposed to I think there's gonna be 11 at early access or something like that, or maybe in full release. I can't remember which one specifically, but we're gonna get way more later. That game is so fucking good. Like the whole time we're playing, it's really fun. It's really fast. The weapons are all really fun to use, and on top of that, you have really good combos. I think my favorite were definitely the kunais, because I love status effect weapons in games like this, and I really was enjoying being able to curse the people, and then having a curse build that I would be able to find. Really interesting, really fun. One thing that I thought was really interesting was the fact that you can only have like 3 abilities or 3 talents at one point or something like that. I can't remember if it was talents or abilities, but like there was like 3 boons you were able to have, which was I thought interesting, because normally a roguelike will let you just become broken or will make it so that you can't, but it's never been like restricted in the nature of like, we're only giving you a couple slots, at least the ones that I've played, right? Now, do I think this is a bad thing? No, because I feel like at some point either that will change or the abilities themselves will just get stronger. And even with just only having those 3 boosts that we had, it's not that it didn't make it so that the game felt like we couldn't build how we wanted to either, right? Like I felt like pretty empowered, and the only time it ever became an issue was when, like, I think there was only one point in our little stint that we played. I think we played like 2 hours or something like that together. There was only one point where I was like, damn, I can't do the build that I wanted to do, right? Or I can't have another ability. I was able to get more than the 3 abilities I want. I think it's gonna end up happening as we make it either more like slots to build things in or something along those lines. But overall, the progression that we've had felt great. The weapon combos is something that is so fucking cool. I can't get over how cool that is.
That is so like, it just looks so good in the eye, and it feels so simple. But I feel like we were talking about it while we were playing. It was like, I feel like people like in roguelikes have like I don't know how often they employed, like how often the combo system plays with switching between it. Again, it's so simple. You know, you have X for one input, Y for the other input, the other weapon. But the combinations of the smoothness of those animations and what they do is so freaking cool. That's so dope. I don't know if we've ever seen that before in a roguelite. I don't know.
I mean, I think there have been others that have done something similar. But this one just felt different because it was not necessarily like I'm just going to switch weapons. It was more like I'm going to do a combo, and being able to get the combo off is really good for damage, but you also set yourself up for the ability of getting countered, like the ability of putting yourself in a bad position because of like, I'm gonna try to get the whole combo off and the monster hits you instead of dodging, you try to get the combo off and now you're looking stupid. And that's what I think was really interesting while I was playing the game. Was I was like, damn, this is like really good mechanic, but it's also very high risk, high reward. So it made it fun though, because now you're not just like blasting through everything. That's where the skill comes in, you know, like if you're getting cooked, that's still a skill issue. The multiplayer was pretty smooth. I didn't like having to find somebody to unlock the multiplayer. That was
one of my few drawbacks as well. And I'm not even mad that you have to go find him. It was just the fact that when I missed him, like, again, just to explain it, Wen found him I think you found him pretty quickly, right?
I found him in my first run, like literally the first moment I got into the game.
Yeah, it didn't take me to like my fourth run, and I had like go back and forth continually to make sure I found him. And I think with some of the procedural like works, one of my criticisms is that where like if there are certain core functions that are like held there, or certain core people, maybe I don't know how you can change this. Again, maybe this is developing that just like is what it is, but like maybe placing them earlier, or maybe like if you could potentially linchpin these like core characters in positions where they don't change too much in the structure of the level. Like, oh, I don't know if you can tell like how far a person is in the level or in the biome. Like, oh, if they get to like 30% through, then that's where this guy is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then help them. Just for core functions. There were other characters in the world and stuff like that you had to like, again, carry back to home base and like send the rescue fish to get them back to home base. You can put them wherever. That's fine. They're story built, but not like core function built. For the what was it, a bird or a fish? I think it was a bird. But like for that guy that unlocks multiplayer, make sure he's in the same spot, because it took me a while. I was looking for this man, like, yo, where's you at, son? I was scrambling. But again, back to you, and go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, and even though that is like the one thing that I wasn't a huge fan of, it is like such a small nitpick when you really like think. Yeah, it's so minor, because like once you find them, you find them. Like it's only gonna be annoying for maybe the first day if all of your friends buy it the first day, and one of your friends can't find the dude. It's like, damn, well, he's gonna have to miss out on a couple runs because your friend can't find the thing. It is such a small thing, and it's probably even more of a skill issue. Like if I was to do like an official review of the game, I would mention it, but it would not impact my final score. Nah, because it's not that big a deal. But it is a little frustrating when we were trying to get off the ground, because like I think I was streaming like prior to that, I was streaming like 4 hours, so I was like trying to get as much gameplay as we could in before my heart stopped, really. And I was like, damn, bro, where is this goddamn bird, you know? But other than that, like literally no other real complaints. We were able, the unlocking system was cool, like the dust and the cogs, like I had no issues with those whatsoever. The weapon types are pretty varied, and they allow for different kinds of like play styles. Like I was more for a ranged play style, and I think you love the heavy sword. Like
I was going in heavy sword, because the combo and like the animation of like slamming down when you held it, it was nice. I was in there slamming. Cool.
It's definitely a game that I will be playing day one. Whether my code turns into a full game or not, I will be buying this game day one.
Yeah. One thing I also want to mention too is one thing we like were discovering as we were going through the runs was like these little checkpoints, and then you could like get certain items and stuff like that. And the share function where each of us had like again the currency to like unlock these things, whether it be some of our life points or some of our cogs. That going into like, oh, like there's a little health bar right there, you want to spend some cogs and get it, we can go half and half, we can split it however we saw fit to get through. I thought that was a lovely additional mechanic that adds risk to it and adds, again, a little bit more camaraderie and teamwork into the co-op functionality, which is like dope. The choices that you make, again, even in the map itself, like, okay, there's sometimes there are these fork in the road moments where there was 3 different paths. Like you can get cogs, you can get an extra skill, or you can get like just like some extra health or whatever. It's like it was like a 3-pronged pass, and you just pick one. to kind of make a decision on what helps you run the best. And I love that, man. The enemies, again, they weren't slouches in any sense of the word, bro. When you take damage, you take damage. Like, you feel that joint, and I really enjoyed that. You wanted to be on your toes. You had to be on your toes. Like that difficulty that was in it. It wasn't overwhelming, but also it was there to challenge you and make sure that you're at your best. The bosses, the mini bosses, and all stuff like that that was super cool. The big ass one that we ran into, and I believe it's on Windblown's Twitter page, X page, as we speak. I think it was dropping on like October 3rd or something like that. Yeah, the headbanger. Oh my gosh, that was a pain in the ass, bro. I want revenge. I want to. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think I literally am going to re-download it just so I could beat that part and be able to be like, all right, now I'm gonna put this to bed, because I know that like again, I don't like playing roguelikes early access unless the majority of the gameplay aspects are there. But I really don't want to like play it and then get burnt out, and then when the game finally drops, I'm like, ah, man, I don't know, I already put like 200, I already put like 50 hours into that game. I'm kind of off that right now.
Yeah, no, I understand it, but no, definitely, I haven't deleted it because I've been trying to get back into it from this week. I know stuff's just been busy with the hurricane and all that, but I want to beat his ass for how it did us, bro. That clip is egregious. That clip is egregious, bro. We look crazy. So for respect points, we have to go back and get it. I'm down to play it when you re-download it. But yeah, so far I am absolutely enjoying Windblown, man. I think this is a really, really, really fun gameplay loop. The gameplay, like the game itself, the art looks really, really cool. The different animals and stuff that you can choose. I think was I a guinea pig? I think I might have been a guinea pig. Yeah. I think I might have been a guinea pig and you were like a pangolin, the pangolin. Yeah. Again, the art looks really cool. The characters look really dope. I like the writing and stuff like that. Not voice acted again. I'm not taking points off, but still is what it is. The writing was cool. The premise and the concept of the world is really interesting. And again, I think the shining star is that gameplay, man. The gameplay loop just feels addicting. Every time I died, I was like, all right, bet, yo, we trying to go in there. When we cut the session off, I was ready to jump in further. I'm like, oh, we trying to run again? We trying to turn shit off, run again? But I ain't saying that because people had stuff to do. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Like I think you literally said, it was like, damn, all right, let's get back in there. And I was like, dog, this is hour 6 for me. I gotta get off. I gotta get off. Yeah, you're like, all right, bro, all right, yeah, I give it up. But honestly, I think this is something really fun. And in a time where I'm telling people, bro, we've been saying this on the podcast for a long time now. Co-op is a big wave of co-op is coming if it's not already here, and this is going to be a lot of fun in this wave. There's going to be a lot of dope experiences in this wave, and I think this is one of them that you should keep your eyes on. So October 24th is when this game drops. I will be there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we will be there. We will get the re-up. No, we will be there. Yeah, we will be there. We will be there. So, and we'll probably be there with Charles too. Like there will be multiple people playing that game. We got that. We got what I'm about to say. Kendall when he has time and stuff like that. Yeah. We gonna be in there. We gonna be in there for sure. No doubts about that. But Windblown so far so good, man. Motion Twin, clap it up for yourselves. Y'all got solid loops here. Solid loops. All right, let's slide on and talk about some interesting news that happened today, or over the past couple of days, rather. There was just a whole, oh my gosh, this is one of those conversations, guys. Bear with us. There was, again, I'm not naming names exactly, but you can probably connect the dots if you want to. There's a lot of grifters online, as you know, and there's another notable grifter that was just talking about how the industry is being crushed and destroyed because of DEI and DEI alone, talking about how he managed to get some conversation with the Ubisoft insider, and then another source told him CD Projekt Red are in big trouble. They're doing all this blah blah blah, like their hiring practice, everything is just done because of DEI. And then the co-CEO of CD Projekt Red literally quote tweeted the guy and was like, "Are you stupid? You're ridiculous. You're nonsensical, bro. You're not of this line of logic. You're not of any line of logic, brother." And he shut down all those claims and was just talking about, you know, their processes at CD Projekt Red and just the truth of the matter from the source, the co-CEO, you know what I'm saying, the joint CEO of CD Projekt Red. And I thought this was just kind of a big stepping stone in a major conversation that just has to happen with gaming discourse in general nowadays. But when, talk to me about how you felt about, again, the co-CEO statement, just the situation in general. Let me know your thoughts. I thought that shit was so funny. And the thing is that, like, I think this is something that unfortunately, a lot of these gamer bros need to really come into understanding is that, bro, your favorites are grifters. Like, I'm sorry, but I would not listen to and I don't want to say the word failed, but somebody who's been in the video game space and hasn't been in the video game space for years, is telling you what it's like on the inside. Is like, actually they're making X amount of money because they're making money off of like some grant. Like, bro, let's call a spade. These dudes, one, Asmongold literally just played World of Warcraft. That is his claim to fame. He has not done anything other than play the fucking video game. You are talking to somebody who is just good at World of Warcraft, or was good at World of Warcraft, because I don't even know if he plays that shit anymore. He doesn't really play many games anymore. And you're listening to him about video game related shit. I'm sorry, but he doesn't work in the space, right? He doesn't work in the space. Other people who claim about DEIs and woke shit, let's see, Dr. Disrespect isn't even affiliated with his own game company anymore because let's face it, he's a pedophile. Grum's old as shit. His game company sucks. What is that one game, Ember or whatever the fuck is what they were trying to make, and everybody is like, yo, I'm not getting my money's worth, we're getting no updates. And he's banning a bunch of people from his own Discord. Like, you guys are realizing that, oh wow, these dudes are all just full of shit, because that's what they are, man. We've been saying this for a minute. The problem is that the dudes would rather believe these wild conspiracy theories than understand the fact that, man, I'm racist. That's really what it comes down to. Is like, man, I think I might just be racist. It's like, dog, I don't want to say it's okay to be racist, because it's most certainly not. But I think it's okay to come to the realization that you have made bad decisions in your life. Like, dog, I don't know what to tell you, but you're listening to the wrong people. An actual CEO of a company is telling you, yo, these motherfuckers are lying to you. None of this shit is true. And you know what's crazy? That there's still people who are going to believe the grifters over believing the people who actually work there. Like, the CEO has absolutely, and I cannot stress this enough, he has no benefit of lying to you. Like, or not lying, he has no benefit of speaking up about this, right? Because whether he speaks up or not, his company's still getting paid. His company's still getting paid. It doesn't matter. If he stays quiet, like EA and all the other companies, they stay quiet because it doesn't bother them, because at the end of the day, that means the racists will be on their side. Like, the fact that this man went out of his way to go on Twitter and cook y'all is pretty fucking, like, that's damning, bro. This motherfucker signed on to Twitter to say, yo, y'all some dickheads. He could have just took a screenshot of this shit, posted it on LinkedIn, and got 1 billion connections off of that shit. Easy peasy. Like, real shit, because that's really where the devs and the CEOs talk, because that's the only social media they actually give a fuck about, because that's where the investors go to see shit. They don't go on fucking Twitter. They're not following somebody with the YT at the end of their name to see what company or what game to invest in. Like, y'all, he came into your playground to say, yo, y'all some dickheads, and then dipped out, and then went back to his fucking yacht or whatever the fuck he's doing. Like, the fact that he pointed out retention, like important shit and y'all don't even give a fuck about none of that shit. Like, y'all really just looking for woke DEIs. Like, man, shut up, bro. Just shut. We don't have time for this. Like, let's just talk about actual gaming. Let's actually get back to the real nitty gritty. And that's what he said, and I agree. Like, let's get back to the real nitty gritty. Like, some people, like even the CEO of Saber, said that the thing about I just wanted to make a game that is just apparently whatchamacallit or whatever. Like, I think that shit was corny, but at least we get to see like his standpoint on this. Is like, it's not, I don't think DEIs are ass. He's just like, I just didn't want to make a game that made people think. Like, that was his whole perspective on it. And whether you like it or not, I don't think it's necessarily the worst take in the world. It's definitely like, you're definitely talking to a grifter, and in his comment section,
the co-opting of that genuine take is just an unfortunate byproduct of what's going on. But again, I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
like, it's not, I don't really care necessarily if the game is gonna make me think morally, or if I'm just gonna do some cool shit. Like, I think that's fine. But I think what needs to get called out is the just straight blatant racism and the blatant sexism of this shit going on, because it's just stupid. It's really is just stupid, because it doesn't make sense that like some of the coolest shit is made by women and by people in different communities that are not just white dudes. And y'all really just gonna fuck up the bag. You're gonna fuck up all this cool shit because y'all want to just push people out, and then we're gonna get fucking the same shit y'all complain about day in and day out. It's so bananas.
Listen.
So shout out to CD Projekt Red for calling that out.
Listen, if these bums aren't stroking their chodes to updates on the First Descendant and Bitches and Fishnet, they're over here complaining about shit that doesn't really exist. You know what I'm saying? There's no war against y'all. We don't give a fuck about y'all, bro. Y'all are losers. We just want to see more of other people in game. That's really it. We just want it to be reflective of society. What ideal society should be like. Different people with different perspectives, not your bullshit. And this is just the general thing that I think, to get back to discourse, we have to have discourse on shaming these people. We need to routinely and often shame these people. And the reason I included this on the podcast notes is this is one of the first big junctures of where actual, you know what I'm saying, like as co-CEO, this is probably the biggest high profile, or one of the biggest high profile call outs of people like this who come on and peddle bullshit and lies all the time to fit whatever grifter agenda to get their bag. And again, just push the general bad mindedness of whatever they want, and it just takes us away from actually talking about games. We just, again, look, scroll back a good 10 minutes. We just talked for a good 10-15 minutes about Windblown. Cool co-op game that's coming out, bruh. We, like, people cannot have the moments to just get back to purely talking about the games, because one, you deal with these punks all the time, and two, you deal with these punks all the time, right? We just need to, honestly, I'm gonna call spade a spade. It's public shaming. It's witch hunts at this point, bro. If you're peddling this bullshit, if you're a grifter, if you're on this anti-DEI nonsense wave, you need to be called out. You need to be shamed in public. You need to understand, no matter how far you sit on that opinion, it is wrong, and you will be proven wrong and shown wrong and shamed and embarrassed at this point in any public forum you choose to speak. We need to be diligent about that. I think many people have said that. Again, Spawn on Me said that. Khalifa said that. Shout out to some folks in GI that were talking about that. I believe Ethos was talking about that. He had like a whole video talking about the Ghost of Your Time when it came out, and I was watching some of it and just like, bro, these people just talk behind the same, they have the same parrot points that the same grifters have, and they don't, like, they either blindly believe it or don't believe it at all and just want to push it because they're making money off it. That's one of the two buckets that they fall under. And like when you actually question it, it falls apart, but they're just gonna run named and shamed. That's all I want to see at this point. If we want to get back to the discourse that is actually qualitative in the gaming industry, if we want to actually bring this to a point where conversation and discourse is serviceable again, one, people actually got to play games, including these grifters who don't even play the shit that they bash all the time. And if they do bash a company, they're talking about games that they adored and is some of their favorite games of all time. CD Projekt Red, they were mad because, oh, why are you hiring so many women? There was a bunch of women that worked on The Witcher 3, jackass. Like, what are you talking about? It's one of your, it's probably like most of y'all favorite games of all time, dummy. So there's that. And two, pushing these crazy, unsubstantiated, like this bullshit agendas. Idiot, like it's no, root it out. To root it out, we gotta be direct. I know there's a contingent of people. I know sometimes myself and I'm included, I just like ignore it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so stupid. Just scroll through the timeline, whatever, blah blah. I'm not saying everybody has to go to war, but everybody should be prepared to shame this stuff when it goes over a line, bro. We gotta be a bit more diligent about that, and that means thought leaders, people that are in the industry, again, just people who are active participants in discourse need to understand how ridiculous this stuff has gone and seek to root it out. When it's there, push it away. It has no place in gaming, and we need to be a bit more intentional about stomping it out and squashing the bugs that are out here that try to infest the space that we inhabit.
Yeah, it's just, again, I don't understand why y'all do it. What I would just recommend, which would be easier for y'all and easier for us to identify you, just skip over the DEI shit and just be like, I don't like black people in my games. That way we can just like, oh, they're just racist, and we can just block you. Because like, I think it's so annoying trying to have quote unquote genuine conversations about video games, and it all comes down to the color of the person's skin. Like it really be like, oh, the game is mid. Why is it mid? I just didn't like the gameplay of it. What about the gameplay did you not fuck with? And
there
it's
was
like,
just
oh,
one writer that we found on LinkedIn, and that's a trans person, so it must be woken. But like before you found that out, you were loving the game. What are you talking about?
Like, and that's the shit that's funny, because even like, if I'm not mistaken, one of the main writers for for Space Marines 2 was trans.
I believe so.
If I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that right there just shows like, while the CEO is saying, yes, we wanted to make a stupid fun game, he's not sitting there being like, all right, show me what you are so I can decide if you want to work at this company. No, they really are just trying to make good games, but not on this weird crusade that you guys are on. Like, you guys are crashing out because I don't know, you don't like people of color. Like, I really just don't understand where all this shit is coming from, because it just, at no point in time did we ever have to even look at the identities of developers. You know, back in the day, we knew the name of the development company, and that was it. We did sometimes we didn't even know the people. Like, I knew Todd Howard's name.
Todd Howard, like, Reggie, and that's it. Like,
yeah, that was like, we didn't know motherfuckers like that. Now we gotta now motherfuckers is doing like the paper bag test at the door for any game they want to play. That's fucking weird. That's so weird, right? Just play the fucking game, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. It doesn't have to be some weird reason behind it.
Yeah, but it's just doubly funny when you realize most of these people who are on the side of these dumbass grifters, they don't even have a united front. They disagree and agree on all different things all day. They can't have a single united thought because it's stupid. It's stupid. There's so much conflict and contradiction at so many levels. It makes no sense that it stands, but because they want to believe it so hard, but because they want to be participants in this imaginary war where they're persecuted, they have something to fight against. Oh, it's the anti-DEI is trying to push us out. No, jackass. There's literally no room for all of us to exist, so we're trying to make more room for all of us to have a spot. And the fact that everybody else is doing that in the gaming space, and we're getting more of that widening of perspective, you don't like that because you live in a fucking bubble. Fuck your bubble. Piss off. It's simple. Yeah, man, crazy. But again, more of this call outs, more of the discourse on rooting these anti-DEI bums out. And yeah, just, we want better for the space, man. We want better for the space. Call this bullshit out. Man, they can eat a dick, bro. Anyways, let's carry on, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that's one of my favorite phrases now because of you, bro. Shout out to Philly and shout out to Wen, man. That is one of my favorite. Eat a dick.
Oh yeah, no, I've been saying like, eat a dick since like 8th grade.
Like, I've said it before, but it has such a different potency hearing it from you, and I'm just like, that's real power. It's real power. You know what I mean? Honestly. Oh man, well, let's get right into this next story here, and let's talk about Ubisoft. Now, we know Ubisoft looks like they're hitting a critical point here. Last week we were talking about if Assassin's Creed Shadows is Ubisoft's last chance with Timmy from the Nerd Council. Shout out to Timmy, and he said yes it was. I agreed. I said yes, this was, and it looks like it could be a tighter case than we thought, because Ubisoft is apparently considering being bought out by Tencent. As it stands, again, Tencent does have some stake and interest in the company, and there have been a bunch of reports that have come out that are suggesting they could be considering, you know, a team up with Tencent to take the company private, take it off the stock market, and you know, switch ownership to the majority Tencent, you know, in that way. And there was confirmation that the deal was kind of acknowledged, and there's acknowledgement of like this movement could be happening from Ubisoft. Guillemot's like, listen, we're just gonna keep our options open, basically. You know, we're gonna, you know, if we have information, we'll let you know. And that combined with you know, just news that Assassin's Creed and plans for the franchise are to drop 10 new games in the next 5 years. Ubisoft is at a critical juncture. So I asked this question to you when, with the buyout and all stuff like that. Is Ubisoft's last legs as we know it?
So what the fuck do you mean 10 games? Fuck the last juncture. What the fuck you mean you're dropping 10 more of them? Fuck, man, if you don't keep them, Ubisoft, put my fries in the fucking bag. I'm so sick of this bullshit. Stop fucking dropping shit like this. We don't need 10 fucking Assassin's Creed. Why is it like, I feel like if there was a fucking fire in the Ubisoft CEO's office and it was blocking the door, he would call up and be like, There's a fire in my office. Should we call the fire department? No, develop another Assassin's Creed game. That'll fix everything. Motherfucker, if you don't get your fucking head out of your ass and fix, oh God. Sure. Is this a final legs of Ubisoft? These have been the strongest final legs I've ever seen in my fucking life. And honestly, I think if you fucking leaned on them bitches would collapse and everything would come crawling. I can't wait for the Ubisoft fucking documentary where we find out this whole fucking shit was a money laundering scam from the fucking cartel or some shit. Like, I just hate these fucking dumbass tactics of like, I just imagine being in the boardroom. They're like, yo, we want you to come in, head of operations. We want you to help us fix Ubisoft. Bet you walk in and you're like, yo, here's some cool ideas. Differentiate shit. Maybe we should push Roller Champions some more. That game was sick. Maybe we should give some new arenas, do some cool shit with that game. That game has good potential for esports. What about an Assassin's Creed game in the Garden of Eden, like Adam and Eve style things? You're just running through the forest butt naked. How do you think? Oh, sir, I don't know if that's the best call.
Oh my God.
If you sign this, I'm gonna give you a fucking promotion. Oh, you know what? Absolutely, we could get the fig leaf physics going. I think it's a bananas idea, sir. Man, if y'all don't change these, I'm tired of these people ruining my games, and I feel like the past two topics have been that sentiment right there. Stop ruining gaming. God damn it, Ubisoft. You knocked it out of the park with Far Cry 3 and then has been fumbling ever fucking since. You guys knocked it out of the park with Assassin's Creed 2 and have been fumbling it ever since. Like, I just can't get behind Splinter Cell Conviction. Fucking amazing. Fumbling it ever since. Actually, not even fumbling it. You just let it go. You didn't fucking do anything else with it. Rainbow Six Siege, we're not even gonna talk about. We're not even gonna sit here and try to discuss. Like, y'all fucking suck. Where's my goddamn Rayman, you bitches? Jesus Christ. You know what? Their name is very accurate. You do be soft, bro. You be soft. You fucking bum.
No. I got it.
Like, this shit is so annoying, bro. It's just it hasn't worked the first time you tried to push 87 Assassin's Creed games.
Oh, gosh.
We said, hey, when you took that time off and made an Assassin's Creed game, that shit was kind of gas. And they're like, oh, word? Let's stop doing that. What? What's wrong with you, bro? We don't want this. We didn't ask for this.
Insane, bro. Insane.
Oh God, I'm so tired of it, dog. I'm so sick and tired of Ubisoft just looking like just fumbling in my face, bro. Can you just go? Can you just pack it up?
And this is the thing, bro. A lot of people are gonna get fucked over in the crossfire if they do consider getting bought out, and they are getting bought out. You know, the funny thing is, a lot of people point to this obvious thing, and I think this would happen. The Guillemot brothers would definitely stay in power. They would want to broker a deal like where they stay in power and stuff like that. I hope in any case they probably shouldn't be if anything happens to Ubisoft at this point, because they lost like $11 billion in revenue since the start of the pandemic, since 2020. I'm about to say, like, their top line, their revenues, and like their net worth, their company worth was 12 billion or something like that in 2020, and it's like 1.7 now, which is insane. That is crazy. And you want to combat this by saying, listen, our last possible major resource that has given us hope over the years, we're gonna run it into the ground in 5 years and hope that's enough to get us back to the position we were.
Like, why do you guys do this? Why is this your plan? I don't know. And the thing is, I don't know about video games, but I'm starting to feel like I may know a little bit more than the people who make these decisions, because it just doesn't make sense to me that you're gonna sit there and be like, you know what? I think we need another shipment of this. Like, I don't know how many Assassin's Creed fans there are that are buying these games, you know? Like, I haven't heard not one person tell me, and I have friends who are content creators, I haven't heard one person say, I, with my own money, am going to be playing this game day one. I've heard I'm getting an activation for this shit.
Yeah, I will amend that statement. I did say I will play Shadows day one. I agree. I'm still holding myself to that.
Okay.
But after that, anything else?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Shadows. Because Shadows is different. But Shadows is special because of what it's doing.
Yeah.
Before Shadows,
oh fuck no.
How many of your friends have said day one I've pre-ordered Assassin's Creed?
I know one,
and I know that I
know one person that I have in my real life, my IRL friends.
One person, and that's great because I know none.
And he said, I'm not too fond of Assassin's Creed after Valhalla. He's lost the love for the game. He's lost the love for the game after Valhalla because they ran it into the ground.
Why? I wonder why. And it just doesn't make sense to me why we're still doing this little game of like, yeah, man, you know, Assassin's Creed, yeah, let's get a couple of those going. Let's get a couple of like it's just the same shit over and over, and it just doesn't work. And I don't know why they can't see that, you know? Like, I don't know why they can't see that nobody really wants this many fucking Assassin's Creed games. It's just, it's baffling. It's baffling. I like the concept of Assassin's Creed. At this point, I can't even say that, bro, because it's so mid now. Because you don't give time to develop cool shit. It's been what, like 15 years since GTA?
Yeah,
since the GTA update? Like, I can't imagine GTA 6 is gonna look anything like GTA 5. But I promise you, if I booted up a fucking Assassin's Creed game, I'm gonna feel like I'm playing the one that was last year. And maybe not Mirage, because I know Mirage is a little bit different. But like, I'm sure from Origin all the way up to Valhalla, there are a lot of similarities. And I'm just not really with the shits anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't have time for this shit. I played every fucking Far Cry from 3 to 6. And 6 was the one that was the most different, and it didn't feel that much fucking different. Like, it's just not, they're just not giving me new cool shit. And maybe there's an art to it, you know? Maybe that's what they're missing. It's like, maybe they need to develop some kind of like artificial demand by not releasing a game every 30 seconds. But like, again, that's strategy that they should be implementing. You know, they should be like, you know what? We should not be oversaturating our own market. It would make sense. But they're just like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Black Flag remake, more Skull and Bones plus Assassins, bro. We need that. The streets wanted that, didn't they? Yeah, come on. You gotta do that and drop 8 more games on it. Come on.
I'm so tired of it. I wish they would just stop. You know, I wish they would just stop. And don't get me wrong, I know y'all were not allowed to bench fucking you weren't allowed to bench, what's this game called? Oh my god. Trip, what is the name of the game with the boats?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bone. Yeah, I know you guys were not allowed to cut that shit at its core.
Shout out Singapore.
But which is good, because there's no reason you should have. If you can't fucking afford to do it, you should just not do it. But goddamn, when are you guys gonna learn? When are you guys gonna learn?
Probably after the 10th Assassin's Creed game drops in the next 5 years. We'll see. Maybe not even
How old are the brothers? How old are the brothers?
The Guillermo brothers they're old.
Yeah. Well, what's their age? I mean, what's their name?
Guillemot.
Guill. And they're the ones who own
Eve. He's Eve 64. Eve 64.
64. All right, maybe in 20 years.
Michael 65. They're all between 63 and 58.
All right. So if modern medicine fails us,
58.
If modern medicine fails us 30 years from now, maybe Ubisoft will look different. If nature runs its course, we may be in for some good change. Until then, I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, if you know wrestling, this sound like the pipe bomb promo when CM Punk was doing shit. He's like, when Vince McMahon's dead, maybe this company be better.
Because there's no fucking excuse. I just don't understand why motherfuckers are making. I don't know why 60-year-old. I never sat down and said, yo, man, gaming. I love gaming. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with my game company. Let me ask a fucking senior citizen what to do with my fucking video games. Do these motherfuckers even play Assassin's Creed? I want to walk up to be like, what's your favorite Assassin's Creed protagonist? And they're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, I don't really play the games like that, Skippy. Like, and I'll be like, where is your fucking nurse?
Hey man, rate this shit 5 stars, bro. Wen just went crazy, bro. You need to rate this 5 stars or else on everything, bro. Come on now. I have no further comments to add, bro. I agree. I get it. Jeez, man. Oh shoot. We can move on here. Let's talk about another a game that's somewhere in the works. Let's talk about Avatar. No, not the blue people, because we don't talk about them blue people. Talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender people. The Last Airbender, a new game is being developed by Saber Interactive and Paramount Game Studios, a new AAA action RPG that is apparently going to follow a brand new, never before seen Avatar in 1,000 years before the events of The Last Airbender. Interesting concept, interesting premise, action RPG. A lot of eyes have been on this news over the past, a week and change that it's been out. How do you feel about this?
I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, but of course, we will see. Because IPs, if it's one of those, give me the IP, don't talk to me, I'm a cook, we're in for a treat. But if it's one of those, here's the IP, but we want some kind of creative control over this shit, I roll, you know? I think with certain aspects, you just need to let people cook. Do I think that who owns the IP for Avatar at this point? Is it still Netflix, or is it still the creators?
I am not sure.
Like that's where the problem will be. It really, and and not to say that the developers can't fuck this up. We know they can, but the problem is that, like, when it comes to this kind of thing, it normally, when it gets fucked up, it's from the top down. It's not, it's usually not from like the bottom up. And that's my biggest concern, is like the top is gonna fuck this up. Now, if they leave them alone, then we may be in for some solid shit, you know. Yeah. But that really ultimately depends on how many cooks are in the kitchen.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, the premise fine. Still owned by Nickelodeon, I think, at this point in time.
Okay.
I am super intrigued, but I'm taking it to a different place. I like when people go in the same universe, but not the same exact story. Give me something different. Interested to see what they build if they have their own world. If I can put some type of comparison or maybe an expectation on it, maybe not to the same scale of depth. Maybe not, I don't know. But again, I think of Hogwarts Legacy. Again, I know there's the controversy, fuck J.K. Rowling as always, but the game itself, the experience itself, had a lot of love and depth brought into it from a different viewpoint of the universe. It was before the time of Dumbledore and Harry and all that stuff. It was a time set separately where they had a space to work in and cook with some familiar concepts and things rolled in. Again, Hogwarts, the things that you usually know and love, but just in that different time frame, so they had more creative fluidity that they could work with and creative flexibility. So taking that to a different era for the Avatar game, I think that's smart. That's a very smart idea. Action RPG, you know what I'm saying? It makes sense, of course. It falls in line with that stuff. Interested to see where they start, what it would be. Is it going to be like, again, the air nomads? Is it going to be somebody in the old Earth Kingdom? Like, I'm curious to see where they go. They can take this in a million different ways, but I need to see a trailer to be fully believing in this thing, first and foremost. But after that, I would say, again, the only comparable scale I have right now is it's Hogwarts Legacy. If you can have that standard of depth poured into the game, if you can have that respect for the material and create something that is not, it's not the same thing. It may have those ties through, you know, whatever concepts that are there. Again, literally the world itself, the universe, blah blah blah. That and the gameplay has got to be fluid, man. I think the gameplay has got to be fluid. I wonder what action RPG now would, and the game flow would fit well with this. I don't know. That's kind of a harder ask. I mean,
the only thing I could think of would maybe something
again,
like, I think
it's gotta have that martial arts grounding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you could either go for something somewhat floaty, kind of like a Kingdom Hearts, but more grounded. And I wouldn't say like a true blue Kingdom Hearts. Like, I don't want to see fucking
somewhere.
I mean, you could probably do air combos forever, but it just wouldn't really fit that well. I think.
Nah. I feel like that needs to be a little bit more grounded, a little bit more. Not like, I wouldn't go so far as like Kingdom Hearts Devil May Cry of like, oh, you can just be in the air forever, dropping shit all day, all day, every day with the grading system. Nah, not that. And I don't want it to be like too. Like, again, I want the martial arts base to be there. I don't want it to be too rigid like a Sifu where it's like it's all grounded and you can't get any air because there's a lot of floatiness and mysticism that's involved in the world. So it's got to be a healthy balance in between, but I'm having a difficulty trying to find out where exactly it could fall in terms of the
I can think of something maybe similar to like a Final Fantasy, maybe Final Fantasy 16. I haven't gotten too far in the game though, so like something like that. But you also need to have a lot of strength in your bending. Like bending has to be the main core of it, because if you're just boxing, then it's not really Avatar, right? And that's the biggest problem, is that like bending in and of its nature is still somewhat of a ranged fighting type of thing, you know? So that's really where it comes down to. So I think maybe like if they could do something similar to like a Final Fantasy 16, maybe.
You know what's funny? Games like Ghost of Tsushima, where you had the different stances that are available, having each element as a stance or each element as a form, and then you have the respective skill trees that you can unlock. You have your base combos and stuff, and that look different but can have similar inputs, so you have that bit of variety in the presentation but not necessarily the gameplay to complicate it. Having those different stances become different elements and you learn them as you go along the journey, that could be a nice way to implement it there. So take that mechanic of the different stances on like the D-pad, you could switch freely and flow freely between them, and some of that gameplay that you were talking about in Final Fantasy 16, like that flow, that floatiness that still has a little bit of punch to it. That's a nice combination.
No,
I hear it. That's not bad at all, but I will hold my hands up and say I will patiently wait for it. Am I optimistic about it? Not yet. We gonna figure it out. But yeah, listen, more Avatar games that have some love into them is something that I want to see. All right, we can slide on here and talk about the last story for today. There was a whole poll and research thing that came out the other day. I believe it was on the 3rd. There was a research study by Media, a company called Media Research, talking about just the split of single player games. And apparently most people prefer single player games, and the general trend is the older you become, the more popular single player games become to you. I believe the preferences here were 53% single player is their number one choice. So how do you feel about that?
I'm not really surprised. I think that's a pretty good split when you really think about it. But I'm not really surprised, mostly because I never really hear people being like, man, I wish there were less single player games out there, you know? Like multiplayer is always going to be fun, but there's just certain things about multiplayer that you can't control that really affect the product, the community. Just like like you can control balancing, but if your game just isn't always balanced, like it's always frustrating, you know? Like I never turn on Wukong, and then maybe it's different for modern games, but like I never remember turning on like a game like Kingdom Hearts, enjoying the balancing in the beginning, and then later being like, I hate this balancing, right? Like the balancing is gonna stay the same because it's a single player game. But if it's something along the lines of like newer age single player games where things get nerfed and buffed, which I think should never really happen past like a month into the game, like I feel like the balancing should pretty much stay regular. Like there's just certain things that you can control in single player games and that people really like about it. I also just think like, you know, I don't always have to worry about like, is this game going to be good? Like if I boot up League of Legends, I could either have the greatest game of my life or literally a scarring moment that I will take with me forever. Like you can't control that in multiplayer games. So it doesn't really shock me when people are like, nah, I prefer a good chiller experience.
I hear it. I agree. And again, I have made claims before that, you know what I'm saying, I like co-op. Co-op is kind of my favorite. It is my favorite way to play, but the chances to do it as often are hard. In terms of pure on accessibility for a gamer, the older you get, you just want to get on, pop something in a disc tray and go. And the easiest thing to do is a single player game. There's not too many constraints, not too many things you have to like get attached to. You just get in, you play your way, and that's it. It's a contained experience you have the most control over. So it makes sense why more people, and most people, and the preference by most people is single player games. I think it doesn't really reflect in what the player rates are nowadays, just because of how monetization works, how consumerism works nowadays, how a lot of the market is geared towards the second biggest category in this research, which is online PvPs. Again, it's multiplayer games, the hero shooters, all that stuff, the usual stuff that you know. But it's funny to see how, again, how each group, it's either second. Well, yeah, from until 24, it's second. It's like 35%, and it doesn't drop below 30% in any category, which is insane how it still takes up that much space. So it's funny when people kind of discredit like single player games or don't think that single player games are like viable, because I'm like, yo, it's most motherfuckers play. This is bread and butter shit. So we'll see. I still think personally, even though it's third place, well, you know what I'm saying, I don't know where online co-op is brought into this mix, but co-op in general, I think that being third place is also very telling, because again, co-op games that's just one of the most potent ways to play it. Again, next to single player games, I think those are the two most potent forms of gaming that there ever was and will be. That's just me though. But yeah, I mean, people just want to sit down and do what they do, bro. At the end of the day, there's a less of a barrier to entry to enjoy something if it's a single player experience, because you know the reins, you know the stakes, and you have the biggest opt-in to that experience, in my opinion. Like, you have the biggest set of control over that. You can pause it when you want, you can stop, start, go to this area, go to that area, and there's a lot less pressure on you, and there's a lot less variables affecting your experience than multiplayer or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting, but it's funny where we'll go. Noticing this stuff is going to be hard to beat that curve of, hey, all this money's coming from multiplayer stuff and hero shooters and battle passes, so we're not going to stop it. But I want to see how this develops with the 20, what was the two demographics right there, the 20 to 24, 20 to 24 and 25 to 34 demographics over the next couple of years. I want to see how this changes when we look back in like the next 4 years, about how it skews.
Yeah, and I think like one thing that you mentioned was like, yeah, you know, you just want to sit down, pop in, and it's funny because like that's really how it is now. Like I used to be like, yo, are you guys gonna be on tonight? I never ask that question anymore. Like, if y'all on, I'll be in Discord if y'all need me. And I think that also changed when I was more in the PlayStation 4 era. I was just like, honestly, what's the point of even like asking motherfuckers if they're gonna be on? I'm gonna just get on, and if they're not on, it is what it is. You know, like. But I wonder it because, you know, we're also older, so like we come from home from work. Like I don't always game at the same time. Like back in the day, I used to be on every day, 5 o'clock. I was on because I already finished my work and I'm good to go. But like now, sometimes like I'm home, I gotta, like the other day, I had to go pick up dry cleaning, run them errands. After this, I gotta go fold clothes. Like my day is not as easily structured as it used to be. Yeah. So it's like that's another thing for me where I'm just more like, yeah, I'll throw on a single player game. Like I think I'm watching Worlds, shout outs to T1 and Faker and them boys. But like I'm watching like people playing League, and it's funny because like I can't remember who it was that was like, damn, I kind of want to play League again. And I'm like, honestly, I'm playing trading card shop simulator and I'm having a blast. This single player random ass game over playing like a competitive game like League. And I think that game is really fun. But I was just like, man, I just don't need to deal with the stress. And that's just like, that's something that I really enjoy. Being able to just like turn my brain off and do something else. Or even playing a game like, Call of Duty is still multiplayer, but like just being able to enjoy my day, so to speak. And there are those games I feel like Call of Duty that feel like a single player game when I'm playing multiplayer, because I don't give a fuck what's going on in Call of Duty. I'm here for my challenges type shit. Yeah, but like, you can definitely like turn your social battery off, and again, that's less of a variable you have to deal with. You're just going in, press the lobby, and go mute everybody, and it's just moving targets, you know. Yeah, and that's what's fun about some multiplayer games. But again, like, you're just never gonna be able to tell me that a multiplayer game is gonna have the same experience as like a God of War Ragnarok. And I think that they will have, and it will never be the same, but they will have an experience just as impactful as something like that. Not trying to discredit multiplayer games whatsoever, but it makes sense to me when a lot of people are just like, nah, I prefer playing Wukong and just being in awe, you know, like I prefer doing XYZ. Yeah, no, I agree. And again,
I'm not gonna spoil it because I got a video coming on my personal shit that talks about something along the lines of this in certain genres. You probably could guess it by the way I'm talking and shit and the way I was talking previously, but it's just the way you manufacture moments and the way moments pop up that are organic, and you know what I'm saying, how often that games can produce that magic. How often can games do that? You know what I'm saying? I think it's different between each genre as it goes, and you know, you just kind of seek it where you fit in. Either you're cool with the social aspect of it and you're willing to have that, you're willing to sacrifice, you know what I'm saying, a bit of control and just like, oh, trying to find an organic moment or just enjoying your time to, you know, go for an objective, or you're going for more control in a single player context. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh, I'm just enjoying the game. I know where it's gonna go. I have agency. I have full agency over what's going on because I can pause it and I can, you know what I'm saying, re-enter it at my leisure. So, you know, it's just differences. But yeah, single player games, we're nowhere near from dead. All right, man. Listen, that's all we had on the notes today, bruh. Anything that we might have missed, anything that we might have, you know what I'm saying, not covered?
Not on my end. Not that I can think of, at least.
Nah, I don't got nothing, bruh. All I know is shout out to people who have been still keeping up with us on over on the All for Growth draft. Shout out to Growth, shout out to the video game draft, man. Those updates did come through as of 11:30, so I'm pretty sure a certain somebody that's on the podcast right now is in the lead as of you know, for the first time this year. So listen, there's a lot of good games that came out, man. Metaphor Fantasio, when we have time to talk about that, we will hopefully talk about that before this year is out. But I mean, listen, we had people talking about it like from an old TikTok that we had, an old TikTok, like we was like, yo, this could be a wild card from early, and look at it now, boy.
Yeah, I'm not trying to, like, you know, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, but that game being reviewed so well, and if that game wins Game of the Year, I don't know, that says something about me being able to pick 2 Game of the Years in a row. But be that as it may, I was always, anything Atlas makes, I'm always looking out for it. Like, I think Persona 3 was a phenomenal remake. My girlfriend loves that game. I played a good amount of it. I had to stop though because I just had too much shit going on. And with Persona, if I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna at least make a dent in that bitch, and I'm not ready to make a dent in that bitch. Metaphor, the only reason I didn't buy it was because I wanted to get my hands on Sparking Zero early, and they both dropped, I think, the same week. So I made the executive decision. And it was funny because when I was talking to my boy, because we were both like, we're either gonna get Metaphor first or we're gonna get Sparking Zero first. And I was like, listen, if Metaphor gets like 10s and shit, then we'll buy it first. But if not, we'll get Sparking Zero. I couldn't wait until the reviews for Metaphor dropped. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just buy Sparking. And then I see the reviews and I'm like, damn. I literally did not follow the plan because this shit is getting reviewed crazy right now.
Hey man, listen, it be like that. I'm about to say, I'm telling y'all, after November, like, again, we got the Veilguard that could be in contention, but this one right here, I think this definitely has became a front runner. Clearly has some distance in between some other things for the Game of the Year conversations. But you know what I'm saying? If you was listening to Cooldown, you might have heard about this before. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I will also say, I also want to give a quick shout out to Atlas because they are like,
bro, they've been hitting from the field this year. Oh my gosh.
The thing about like the Persona boys is the best way to describe it. That's the best way I like to call them. Is just like they know, like, turn-based I don't think will ever die if they're still making games. Because I, at this point, like, I played a little bit of the demo of Metaphor and I'm like, okay, so we have a little bit of action because before you fight a monster now, you can like kind of like, I think it's called breaking them, where you can like just spam square or hit them from the back and like hit them from the back and like break their guard and shit. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, it's interesting. They're kind of moving towards more action-y related stuff. And then you still jump into the main combat, which is still turn-based, and I'm like, man, I hope they never stop making games because I love me some turn-based. I cannot. It's just fun. They know how to make this shit fun, and they know how to make their games. It's not just Persona 5 in a different like world. It's a new game, and I only played the demo, but like that shit had like 4 or 5 anime cutscenes in that bitch. So I can only imagine the whole thing is a damn near a fucking full anime. I'm really excited. I'm copping that shit next Wednesday when I get paid. Word. Like, moment that shit hits my account, I'm copping that game up because I gotta get my time in, but I'm trying to make as much leeway into Wukong as I can because I'm not trying to let that shit fall to the back burner.
I'm literally gonna try and finish through Wukong, honestly, before the end of the month, because Call of Duty dropping, and I know that's gonna chip away at my time as well as everything else, because it's been a heavy flow, bro, heavy flow of stuff. But we'll see though. That being said, that's all we got. Give us your closing notes, give us your closing statements for episode 105.
Drink your water, play your games, stop listening to grifters, just fucking enjoy life, and play some trading card simulator. Trading card simulator shop. This shit has been fulfilling my ADHD to a level I cannot explain. But yeah, that's all I got.
My closing notes is, this is very important. This is very a philosophical point that I stumbled upon over my past couple of days. If you play Omega Shenron, MUI Goku, or any crazy OP character in Sparking Zero, you a bitch. And reevaluate your life. And Future Gohan might be in that conversation, but I need some more market research. So hold on. That's pending. That's pending, brother.
That man clutched up a game for real. I was like, let's fucking go. I think we know some balancing needs to be worked on, but like Yajiro be getting full health off the Sensu beam. I get it. It makes sense, but let that motherfucker get damaged more than or some shit. I don't know. That motherfucker be buying some time. And I know my ass is free. My ass is freer than a sample at Costco. I understand that shit 1000%. But that little motherfucker, he could do the Sonic weave. Him? All right, bro.
At least take the lines off his stuff, bro.
Like,
it's crazy.
Something. Like, you're not gonna. Muscle Man from a regular show should not be moving like this.
Oh man, I'm dead. Make sure you go show love to the show everywhere, man. No Cooldown podcast wherever it's available, audio podcast platforms, YouTube, Twitters, all that. Catch your shorts, the segments, everything. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. This has been episode 105 for No Cooldown, and we are out of here. Sorry, I'm not gonna finish this thing. All right, y'all. Bye.